SK Modified Division and the starting lineup. Scheduled to start back in the 27th starting position. He'll be driving car number 17, the Westcon Autobody Chevrolet Cavalier from New Fairfield, Connecticut. Give a nice round of applause for Harry Hansen Jr.
Starting 26 in the field from Winthrop, Massachusetts, in car number 99, in the Tony's Autobody Cavalier, it's the Sky Pilot, Kirk Zervis.
Yesterday, a mechanical problem forced him out of contention. He'll be starting way back in the 25th starting spot. It's not where you start, it's where you end up. The Cooker Construction Company, number 90. Linda Hightower owns the automobile from Somers, Connecticut, Todd Owen.
This driver is making her SK Modified debut aboard the Ashaway Performance Engines Grand Prix. Car number 76, last year's SK Light champion, Smilin' Shelley Perry.
23rd starter to the field. He comes from Madison, Connecticut. He grew up watching the Holdridge family, and now he sits behind the wheel of a car that they used to own. The Benjamin Moores paints number 30 from Madison, Connecticut, John Cleary.
Starting 22nd in the field is a graduate from the Stafford Stock Division. Aboard car number 45 in the Sienna Motorsports Cavalier from Enfield, Connecticut, Fran Sienna.
21st starter to the field will be the Casa Grande Builders Machine. Another young, talented driver from Stafford Springs, Connecticut. PAS Enterprises among the sponsors of this Chevrolet Cavalier. Ladies and gentlemen, car number 47 for Scott Bennett.
Our next driver has not missed a race in 18 years. Today he's aboard car number 96, the Canton Auto Supply Cavalier from Canton, Connecticut, Kurt Brainerd.
18th starter to the field. His family builds race cars, the famous Johnson Racing chassis cars. From Munson, Massachusetts, he'll drive car number 53, who'll be starting back in the 18th starting spot. Would you welcome Dave Sazzarillo?
Starting next in car number 81, a former track champion at Stafford Speedway, Kerry Malone.
The next starter to the grid was also a competitor who's always tasted the sweets of victory here at Stafford. In his racing career, his first SK win came on a Spring Sizzler weekend. Yesterday, he won the 21 means 21 event. From Lebanon, Connecticut, driving the Mansfield Paper Village Springs Extra Mart convenience store number 51. He'll be doing double duty in the Wheel and Modified Tour. From Lebanon, Connecticut, Zach Sylvester.
This driver won the track championship in 2005 from New Milford, Connecticut. Today he's aboard car number 22 in the Agor Motorsports Machine. It's Lloyd Agor.
14th starter to the field. Stafford's all-time winningest driver. The man in black is back. He'll be sitting behind the wheel of car number 13. From Plainville, Connecticut, TC Ted Christopher.
Next in car number 78, a new paint scheme for the J.G. Pool and Drywall Pontiac Grand Prix. From Wallingford, the silent speedster, Keith Rocco.
Next we move to our 13th starter. He'll be driving the number 2, a graduate from the SK Light Division. Bosch spark plugs listed among the sponsors of the Hurricane Motorsports Chevrolet Cavalier. Keep your eyes on this young and talented driver of the Deuce Gone Wild, car number 2, Richie Pillai.
By his side in the 12th starting position, the 2006 SK Modified champion. From Cheshire, Connecticut, in the Earth Technology Pontiac, here is Frank Rocco.
11th starter to the field. This gentleman is a veteran. Always a front runner from Willington, Connecticut. He'll sit behind the wheel of the Arbitel convenience store number 7. Another one of the Cliff Nelson Motorsports special from Willington, Connecticut. Would you welcome Willie Hardy Jr.
Now we move into the top 10. Starting in the 10th position from Enfield, Connecticut, he finished 6th in the point standings a year ago in the ECI Cliff Nelson Motorsports Cavalier. Here is car number 18 and Jeff Burrell.
9th starting spot. He is the defending regional champion. He's always been a favorite here in the town of Stafford Springs, Connecticut. He brings the sleepy town to life each and every Friday night. The Davidson Specialty Foods, number 52. Owned by Davidson Racing Incorporated, the Chevrolet Cavalier, Stafford's own, the Neon Woody himself, Woody Pitcat.
A brand new race car for our 8th starter, car number 15, Extra Mart and Village Springs, brings us the Ford Mustang, driven by Jeff Johnson.
7th starter to the field is car number 84. It's a Cinderella story. He picks up help from Eddie Partridge and T.S. Haulers. He'll be driving the R.F. Parker Motorsports machine from Bethlehem, Connecticut. Former champion, ladies and gentlemen, battling Bo Gunning.
Starting 6th in the field, a man who finished 4th in the point standings a year ago. From South Windsor, Connecticut, today he's aboard the Davidson Specialty Foods Cavalier. It's the Matador, Jeff Malave.
5th starter on the field is a driver who also graduated from the SK Light Division, the Fennoyer Motorsports Gaston Racing Ford Mustang. From Tolland, Connecticut, car number 6 for Wade Mattinson.
Now let's check out the 4th starting position. A driver from East Hartland, Connecticut, and the Bobcat of Connecticut Cavalier. It's the Bobcat himself, Jimmy Larson, in car number 44.
In the 3rd starting spot, it's the Silver Fox. Linda Hightower owns the automobile. It's the reliable welding and speed Pontiac J2000. Veteran driver from Ellington, Connecticut, in the mighty number 9, it is Brad Hightower.
Now let's meet our competitors who are stationed on the front row. Starting 2nd in car number 54, a driver who finished 3rd in the point standings a year ago in the North End Auto Parts Pontiac. Here's the Bulldog, Eric Burt.
And in position number 1, he'll bring the field to the green. He travels the longest distance to get here on a weekly basis. From Huntington Valley, Pennsylvania, the National Towelette Chevrolet Cavalier, car number 16 for Rowan Pennick. Ladies and gentlemen, stage before you, Jackaroots, SK Modifieds, and they're ready for battle.
A very impressive field of cars. Well, here's my final thought. The hottest driver at the end of the 2006 season was Willie Hardy. He got off to a disastrous start a year ago, probably cost him the championship. I think it's really important for the 7 car to come away with a good finish today to give him the momentum that he ended the season with.
Woody Pitcat went to Las Vegas. He represented Stafford, and he represented the Thompson Speedway, where he won the title. He knows what the sweets of success are all about. He wants to start this season as strong as he ended the last season. Lights are off. The Whelen lights no longer glitter, but the enthusiasm of the Whelen race fans are about to go green off turn number 4. SK Modified Racing is unleashed as they head to the line.
And a good move by Brad Hightower early on to distance himself from Larson. And here comes the Bulldog on the outside. Eric Burt taking the early lead.
But the Silver Fox darts out to the outside, pulls it back into 3rd. We've got trouble down the back straightaway.
Dave Sazzarulo losing a tire.
Richie Pillai up next to the cement retaining wall, and a 3rd car moves in. It is Shelley Perry with car number 76. 3 cars involved before 1 lap goes into the record books. Tires down on 2 of the 3. As you look beneath the CarQuest Motorsports billboard, you'll see one of those 13.5 inches of racing tires literally come coasting to the center of the infield. Richie Pillai's car, flat left rear on the number 2 car as he heads back down on pit road. Tony Sutton is on pit road. He'll fill us in on what's happening there.
Right now, everybody's up on the wall just waiting. Rich Pillai, the number 2 car, coming to his pit. Rear wheels are pretty torn up. The bumper's pushing a little bit, but it looks to be superficial damage as the crew goes under the car in order to get it up. A tough first lap for the number 2. The rookie yellow stripe's still there, being rubbed off a little bit more during the first lap. But Rich Pillai, with fresh tires on the car, will be back out in the competition momentarily.
Now let's take a look at the Diamond Vision screen here in a moment and see if we can figure this out, Matt, on what happened. There's the field going through. 13 of Teddy Christopher was the meat in the sandwich.
And then Pillai went around and made severe contact with the wall right underneath the Coors light sign.
We're about ready to go back to green. Let's set the field for you. Rowan Pennick on the inside. Pennick gets a big jump, Matt, over the 54 car of Eric Byrne. Down to the bottom of turn number 1. Will it stay green or will it go back to yellow? It looks like it's going back to yellow, Matt. We predicted that one right.
Eric Byrne got such a monster jump the first time. Rowan Pennick retaliating. Of course, that did not go. A year ago, when Rowan Pennick came to Stafford Speedway, nobody really knew who he was. Kind of a stranger coming from the Pennsylvania area. But as the season progressed, Rowan Pennick got stronger and stronger, and today he sits on the pole.
He sure does. We should also point out that you might be wondering why the NASCAR wheel-in officials would call back the restart like that. It is simple. Their job is to keep the playing field equal at all times. The drivers are told in a pre or event drivers meeting how the start should be, that the men in the front row should be paired off and be as even as possible, and they are not able to start until the green flag is given. Let's see what's going to happen here. We'll reset the field for you. Car number 16, Rowan Pennick on the inside. Eric Byrne outside, row number 1. Row number 2, Matt.
And on the inside, Brad Hightower, the Silver Fox. Jim Larson outside of him.
Down into turn 1. This time, Byrne gets a nice run on the outside, but Pennick steps on the gas. Sheer horsepower decides who wins the drag race down the back straightaway, and the Silver Fox is looking racy. Like days of old, it appears that Brad Hightower is looking very, very strong. There's a gaggle of cars that follow, and that's where the heat is on.
And one guy doing well on the outside, Bo Gunning in car number 84, as he pulls even with Jimmy Larson, and now he spurts by him.
Just as strong as Gunning looks to the outside of the racetrack does Burrell in the blue number 18 car, one of the Cliff Nelson Motorsports car. And guess who pulled out a line? We'll call it the fast line. It is car number 3 for Jeff Malave. Malave moves to the bottom. Gunning taps him on the back bumper. Hello! Down at turn number 3. Gunning's up to 4th. With him comes Johnson. And right there behind him is Burrell as they come back to the stripe.
And Rowan Pennick has dropped all the way to 7th, being shoved right there by Woody Pitcat. Pitcat trying for some leverage on the outside.
Defending series champion Frank Rocco also looking racy to the outside. That's the blue number 91 car as it's holding off Willie Hardy in the neon and black number 7. By the way, Keith Rocco changed his colors to change his luck. Trouble now. Rocco becomes a victim of circumstances as Wade Madison makes contact with Rocco, and he hits at a ton. A heartbreaking situation for the Jean-Guy Poole and Drywell team as they make heavy contact with the wall down in turn 1. We'll wait for a look at the Diamond Vision screen to see exactly what happened, but it appeared that one of the cars darted out of line, and the end results was Keith Rocco, a victim of circumstances. Here's a look at it, Matt.
The 78 is the man who gets involved, of Rocco, and he went on a collision course right to the wall as somebody tapped him from behind.
What looked like it happened there, if they can rewind it, here's a different angle of it. Keep your eyes on the black and neon orange number 6 car for the rookie. He darted out of line, and when he did, apparently he was not aware of the fact that the 78 car was there. And there's that dart that I was talking about, Matt.
Yeah, he went right into the 78, and I think he didn't know that Keith Rocco was there. As we go to Tony Sutton for another perspective on what's just happened.
Well, Ted Christopher's crew is over the wall working. They've got to change some suspension components on the front of the 13 car as they get the tools out and the parts. They have everything here. The question is whether or not they're going to have time to get it changed before Ted loses too many laps. Obviously, they're well aware of this car. They've worked together as a team for a long time. But Christopher, you can just see the frustration in his eyes as he sits in the car waiting for them to replace the components on the front that were damaged in that crash. Back upstairs.
Let's go back down where the action is on pit road and see if we can find out more of the stories and why.
Well, we're waiting for Keith Rocco to come. For Keith Rocco to come out. He's being checked out. The crew is immediately over the wall. There's substantial damage to the front of the car, the 78. In addition to the Nerf bar being pushed in, there's radiator damage, and the suspension components are pretty much junk. So they have their work cut out for them if they're going to be able to get the car put back together in time to get back out into this racetrack.
A lot of damage done to the front end of that race car. They changed the color to change their luck, and obviously that did not work today. That does not mean it won't work. We're about to go back to green with 4 laps now showing on the scoreboard. Matt, they thunder off turn number 4. We're looking for the restart.
And this time, another great jump for Burt as he looks like an arrow being shot out of the bow, taking the advantage. Malave starts to breathe down the back of Brad Hightower.
Malave was kind of silent yesterday afternoon. He works his way to the inside.
Jimmy Larson in trouble with car number 44.
Willie
and
Hardy
Madison
spins.
also hits a wall.
Hardy also spins, able to gather it back. Shelley Perry is among the victims here, and the caution flag comes out again. As now 5 laps show up on the board. Car number 76, Shelley Perry, the rookie, and the 44 car was also involved in the mix-up there.
So the Bobcat, Jimmy Larson, he's underneath the CarQuest Motorsports billboard. As I don't think he hit the wall that severely, but the number 2 of Rich Pillai will be getting a black flag and a drive-through penalty for not lining up properly. So we've had 3 SK Light graduates in this race, Ben, and 2 of them have already had penalties, Wade Madison and now Rich Pillai with a drive-through.
So once again, we're under caution here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. 5 of the 40 laps are into the record books, and so far a lot of changes have been taking place, wholesale changes on the racetrack, and as well as a lot of action on pit road as well. Let's take a look at this one, Matt. I'm not sure what happened here, so let's see if we can figure it out. There is Frank Rocco and Willie Hardy to the outside. Zach Sylvester on the inside. In front of Sylvester is the car that sets off the chain reaction. We're about ready to go back to green. 54 of Eric Byrne, the Bulldog, now on the inside of the front row. Outside of him, TSI Harley, Davidson Company, number 3 for Jeff Malave. Row number 2, it is Brad Hightower. Outside of him is Bo Gunning. Then we go to the 18 of Burrill, and in the 6th spot, Woody Pitcat.
Let's see if Burt can get that fast escape again. This time Malave is to his outside. It doesn't matter who lines up outside Eric Burt. He gets the upper hand again.
Down the back straightaway, Byrne really starts to pull away from the opposition. The I Done Good move goes to Jeff Burrill, one of the Cliff Nelson Motorsports car. That crown is shining on the number 18 as Burrill has worked his way into the 3rd spot. A year ago, almost every Friday night, Matt and I were told the fastest car in the house was always Jeff Burrill. He's showing that kind of muscle again, but with him is Woody Pitcat. The Neon Woody is up to 4th. Car 52 and Malave drops back to position number 5 with Bo Gunning and the defending series champion right there with him.
It looks like Bo Gunning having some handling problems, Ben. He's not smooth coming off of turn 2 and turn 4.
Single file, they come back to the line, and Burnt has got a mirror full of car number 9 for Brad Hightower. Now, Hightower is a fabricator and a welder by trade. The difference between this car and every other car in the field, with the exception of the 90, is it's a homemade race car. You don't see a lot of those these days. They buy these cars like models you'd buy in a store, and they put them all together, and they just tweak them and make them just a little bit different.
As Brad said, there's nothing like the feeling of winning a race when you have built the car yourself. As he continues to be in striking distance of Eric Byrne, Roland Pennick slowing down, everybody getting by him. Now Lloyd Agor trying for room on the bottom of the 16 car.
That's a good battle right there. That's at the bottom of the top 10. And Willie Hardy has started to settle in there. Christopher's trying to go to the outside of Zervis. That's a little bit further back in the field. The man that runs up front, Eric Byrne, his dad and his grandfather were big supporters of auto racing. The grandfather runs a salvage yard down in Meriden, Connecticut, and he's had some of the top drivers in the old days in Plainville running in the famed 54 cars. he was thrilled when his grandson decided that he was going to advance his career and get into the racing business. So they took one of those old modifieds and they modified it a bit, and Eric Byrne started his racing career modified style. We're back under yellow. Car number 90 and car number 2 have tangled between turns 1 and 2. Both cars were able to pull away.
Boy, how many predicaments can you get into for the first 11 laps? Another ticklish situation for Todd Owen, who is already 1 lap down as he goes back onto pit road. So Eric Byrne is our leader. Next door to him in second is Brad Hietala. Jeff Burrell running third. Woody Pitkat in car number 52 running fourth as we get ready to go back to work.
Off the turn, nice start that time. They were even as they head down into turn number 1. The advantage is the inside for obvious reasons. There's more rubber on the bottom of the racetrack than there is to the outside. We had rain here last evening, and that changed the conditions severely. And remember, this is the first feature event of the afternoon. Jeff Burrell puts the Cliff Nelson Motorsports car into second. The blue number 18 with neon numerals is in the second spot. And by the way, we should mention car number 51 for Zach Sylvester. In the history of the SK Modified Division, Todd Szegedy is one of those drivers that won the 21 means 21 event and came back to win the feature event for the SK Modifieds. The way that Zach Sylvester is running now, it
Willie Hardy in trouble.
But Hardy saves it again, Matt.
So he climbs back on the track after going on the fairway in turn number 2.
Back towards the front of the field. Now Lloyd Agor and the Rocco machine also in the middle of this. But Eric Byrne, the Bulldog, is out in front, and he becomes the chase car.
Now Jeff Burrell really has some bite on the bottom groove, and I think over the years, Ben, most of Jeff Burrell's wins have taken place early in the season. So he is always known to get off to a great start.
Eric Byrne's last circuit was 19.298. Jeff Burrell's was 19.364. What does that mean? You don't even have to tell time to figure that out, that he's not catching him as yet. Now here comes Woody Pitkat, down beneath Jeff Malave. Now they're teammates, right? Well, they're teammates until they put their helmets on and step on the gas. And then it's every man for himself. Woody Pitkat's up to third. Malave bounces back to fourth. And here comes Brad Hietala with Zach Sylvester in hot pursuit.
And Zach Sylvester has had progress on that bottom groove. It looks like Brad Hietala, it's good when he stays close to the white line, but when that car wanders up the racetrack, he loses all of his momentum.
He sure does, but he's still trying to hold on as much as he can. Hietala was crossed up that time. Sylvester gives him a little chrome horn action as they head down the back straightaway. The 84 of Bo Gunning. We've received words. It's up on the board down in turn number 1. There is a possible fluid leak on that car. Sylvester is out of it. Matt, Zach Sylvester pulls out of line. He pulls to the bottom of the racetrack. He is out of the competition here.
So something apparently snapped on that 51 car. We're at the halfway point of the race. A healthy lead for Eric Byrne over Jeff Burrell. And now Brad Hietala making contact with a 3-car of Malave. He gives Malave time to correct.
Jeff Malave driving by the seat of his pants as the car started to drift around on him, just corrected the situation, kept his foot on the gas, and didn't lose any valuable ground. Let's see what's going to happen this time. Hietala is there again.
The Silver Fox trying to sneak under Malave, but doesn't have enough energy to make it work. Now Hietala has to worry about Lloyd Agor behind him.
Lloyd Agor is a very consistent individual. Bo Gunning down on pit road. Fluid leaking from the race car is going to take him out of this one. He's unstrapping from his car. His day has suddenly ended. Back to the battle between Hietala and Malave. Nose to tail, little bumper action. The Hansen machine spins to the inside of the racetrack. Will it bring out a yellow mat or not? I don't believe so.
He's going to go back out onto the racetrack and we'll stay under green. And Brad Hietala continues to torment the back bumper of Jeff Malave's car. Here he comes trying to find some room, and just again, he can't find enough to make that pass.
And he is giving it his all as they head down into turn one. There's Hightower, bottom shot move again. Nice move by Hightower. That's the stuff that Mike Stefanik did. Oh, Hightower's in trouble.
He winds up on the grass in a sideways spin, and a great run comes to a halt for Brad Hightower on lap 25.
Caution is out, 25 circuits in to this 40-lap event, and this could be the deciding factor for a lot of the teams running up front. The field has started to string out just a bit. We went for a long period of time without a caution, Matt. We're going to see what will when we double them back up. Here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, we are famous for one thing, and that's the restarts. And what is that famous line that Matt Buckler has used? It's become a household word.
Double file will make you smile. And that's the only kind of restarts we do here in our weekly series at the Stafford Motor Speedway. We're going to check out the situation between Brad Hightower in car number 9 and Jeff Malave in car number 3. If you go to the Diamond Vision, there's Hightower underneath the 3.
Now, it really looked as if Hightower, who was trying to make the move on the bottom. Now, he was working over Malave lap after lap after lap, that when he came off the turn, he got a little too much bite. The back end of the car started to come around, and guess what? He ends up around on the back straightaway. There have been 6 caution in 24 laps. We're about to go back to green. The leader has been Eric Berndt with car number 54. Position number 2 is the 18 of Burrill, followed by Woody Pitkat, Jeff Malave, Lloyd Agar, and defending series champion Frank Rocco. Oh, trouble, Rowan. Panic is crossed up, Matt.
But he is able to recover. It's going to cost him a spot as Kerry Malone is able to get underneath him. And Malone is being pressured by Ted Christopher. Christopher also gets by Penick.
Christopher has threaded the needle. He's come back to the top 10, and Willie Hardy is also there with him. Meanwhile, Woody Pitkat is glued to the back bumper of car number 54. He's looking at the Cliff Nelson Motorsports crown on the back of that race car and thinking of the crown, the title that he won a year ago, and saying it could all begin here again today, as Pitkat is reeling him in, 26 and counting. Let's go a little further back in the field. Great run by your third place car, the neon green and black number 22 of Lloyd Agar, the independent runner. Jeff Burrill is back in 4th, and Malave has hung around the top 5 all afternoon.
I think Pitkat's car is stronger now than it was in the opening handful of laps, as he's not letting Berndt get that big lead like he was able to open up against Jeff Burrell.
The times are so close. It's almost amazing as you look at them. Just one little slip going in and out of the turn could cost you a great deal. Now look at Berndt's car. When he steps on the gas right in the apex of the turn, the car just launches forward and it pulls away from Pitkat in 1 and 2 by about a quarter of a car length. Watch this happen now as he sets up and goes into turn number 1. Nice line right down to the bottom. Then he gets on that gas and the car just starts to go. And that's where he's gaining on Woody Pitkat every lap, Matt.
He's not only the fastest car right now, Eric Berndt also has the smoothest car. Willie Hardy in danger of getting passed by Penick, as Hardy battled back into a top 9 spot, and he was able to hold off Penick in that situation.
And by the way, car number 9 for Brad Hightower has also come from that spin, and he's working his way back to contend among the top 10. 3 and 4 is the stronger turn for Woody Pitkat. 1 and 2, a whole different story. Look at Pitkat.
Taking a shot on the outside.
Off the second turn. Now remember, we said it before. Horsepower decides the longest straightaway. That's the backstretch.
Remember when Woody Pitkat won his first SK race ever, it was with an outside move that he just executed right there perfectly.
And the tail that wags the dog becomes car number 22, and that is Lloyd Agar. Agar moves into second. Berndt is struggling in third. Here comes Burrill, and with him is Malave, Rocco, and now Kerry Malone as they come off turn number 4.
Woody Pitkat must have seen that Eric Berndt's car was getting tight off the corner, because he went outside, didn't hesitate, made a very aggressive move to get the lead.
On the last circuit by, the time was 19.340 for Pitkat, 19.433 for Lloyd Agar. So what you see is not what you get visually. It looks like Lloyd Agar is reeling him in, but in actuality on the stopwatch, it is Pitcat who's maintaining the same laps, hitting his marks each and every time by.
And Eric Byrne has fallen back to 5th, and he is in danger of being overtaken by Frank Rocco in car number 91, as Rocco trying to invade the top 5.
The final 5 circuits are in and are about ready to begin. As they head into turn number 3, it is still Pitcat, your leader. Lloyd Agar still setting in 2nd. Burrill is still 3rd. Malave is 4th. Then there's about 4 car lengths with Burnt in the 5th spot. 6th is Frank Rocco. 7th is Kerry Malone, and 8th is Teddy Christopher. 9th is Willie Hardy, and 10th is Rowan Pennick. The clock is ticking, Matt.
And nobody's making it tick quicker than Woody Pitcat with a lap of 19.391, and actually Agar a little faster on that last lap, but he's running out of shots. When they hit the stripe, only 2 laps to go. It looks like Lloyd Agar is trying to get down low and maybe open up a gap between himself and Pitcat.
Deuces wild. There is 1 mile left in the competition here. Frank Rocco has a problem down the front straightaway. He almost comes to a screeching halt. Pitcat still in command. Lloyd Agar reeling him in. Off turn number 4. White flag is out.
Let's see if Agar can get close enough to make a challenge to Woody Pitcat in the 52. Right now, Pitcat has a pretty good safety valve as they go down the backstretch. Time is running out for Lloyd Agar.
Down at turn number 3, the car that goes and glows, the Neon Woody, looks to bring it back to the line. Sizzler Sunday with his hand out the window. Woody Pitcat has done it. He keeps the money in Stafford Springs, Connecticut, and he will win the CarQuest SK Modified Feature event. Great run for Lloyd Agar with car number 22. Finishing in the 3rd spot is Jim.
And Keith Rocco, disaster on the 5th lap. He finishes 26th, and Dave Sazzarulo never finished a lap, and he finishes last. Is Woody Pitcat being congratulated in victory lane? Lloyd Agar has to be happy. He had such a miserable 2006 season. They changed everything on the car during the winter, and apparently they knew what they were doing. And Jeff Burrell, a consistent way for him to start the season, finishing 3rd.
Well, he was the regional champion in 2006.
Look at that new hairstyle.
Yes, sir. It's a new look, a new day, a new deal. He is out of the automobile as we head down the CarQuest victory lane. Tony Sutton is there with a very happy Woody Pitcat.
Well, Mark Root puts the winner's medal around Woody's neck, trying to get the hat to fit, cover up that new hairstyle. Boy, I'll tell you what, it took a while to get going because everyone was banging and thrashing, but you prevailed. You stayed out of trouble. Nice drive.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it was just, we started off like you said. I was cleaning the car. I forgot to turn the fan on early, and it got hot, and my crew chief was, "Is that you cleaning it up?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" And he said, "Oh, I get worried on on all the cautions that we're going to run out of fuel like last year." So I just cleaned it out real quick, turned the fan on, and once we got going, I knew we'd be okay. We started running down Burrell, and then we got a quick caution, started 3rd. And I don't think I would have got Eric there. I don't know what happened to him there at the end. I was getting real tight, and I pushed off one time off of 4, and he moved to the bottom, and I said, "Oh, now's the chance to just try the outside." And I stuck it out there. He gave me a lot of room. I want to thank him. And that was it. And that was just, once I got out front, hit my marks, and tried to get it to victory lane. Early there in the race, I got into my teammate Jeff a little bit. I just want to apologize for that because I drove in there a little bit too deep, and I wasn't going to wreck him. You know, it's just you got to bang a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, you ended up last year, outstanding performance last year, and you started right off this year the same way. The team is gelled. Woody's on the gas. It looks like your car, your team, going to be the mark to beat this year.
I hope so. You know, that's what my goal is, to try to win a championship for Dave Rowe and the Davidson Company. If it wasn't for them, I say it all the time, I want to be here for them. TSI Harley Davidson, all the small sponsors, Roms, Palmieri's back on, Cosmos, Chase Lumber. The list goes on and on. BM Museo Plumbing and Heating, Dave Rowe Racing Team. Awesome power by Billy the Kid. Is great motor this year so far. CD Chassis, you know, it's been awesome. And I just got to thank the crew for busting their butts in and out, you know, to get the car ready, and my crew chief right there, Jimmy Fuller. The guy's, he's like MacGyver. He's always thinking of something.
Jimmy Fuller, definitely a whiz when it comes to setup. Congratulations on the first feature win of 2007 for the SKs, and we look forward to talking to you again throughout the year.
All right, thanks, Tony.
Okay, thank you, Tony. We'll be going just momentarily back down to CarQuest Victory Lane, and Tony will be talking to our second place finisher, Judy Blanche. Please go to the Speedway office. Judy Blanche, you are requested to go, if you would, to the Stafford Motor Speedway office. Back down to CarQuest Victory Lane, Tony Sutton, TS.
Well, Lloyd's explaining exactly how he got to where he was. I'm not sure what these movements mean with his hands, but we'll find out. Lloyd, congratulations on second place. You stayed out of trouble, dude.
Yeah, we took a few bumps and licks in the beginning there. They don't have much patience. Once it's sorted out, though, it was a pretty good race. And, I can't say enough for my guys. We came here, we practiced last week. We were really good. Yesterday we bombed. Today we made up for it. Transmission clinic, performance engines, Kevin and his dad, everybody that helps this deal. Without them, we wouldn't be here.
Well, we got the young guys and the veterans first and second. And did you learn anything following Woody for next week or the week after?
Yeah, all we needed was a tick of an adjustment, and that would have been a piece of cake, too.
Well, Lloyd, congratulations on the podium finish. Second place, Lloyd Agor.
Thank you.
Now we have this reminder for you from all of us here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Whether you're digging on public or private property, you must have a CBYD ticket. It's easy to get. It's the law in the state of Connecticut. Dig safely. Call before you dig at 1-800-922-4455. A free service. So for more information, visit the Call Before You Dig website at cbyd.com. With our third place finisher in CarQuest Victory Lane, back to Tony Sutton.
Jeff Farrell on the podium in third place and did a lot of left and right turning out there to stay out of everybody's way.
Yeah, it was pretty rough out there. First one usually is. Car was really, really good in the beginning. We got super tight on the long run. We kind of thought that might happen. I got to thank all my guys. I mean, they worked hard all weekend and all winter trying to get the car ready. Awesome horsepower, Mike Paquette. Everybody that puts their time and effort. My sponsors, Cliff Nelson, ECI, Pinellas Plumbing, the whole crew. I mean, without them, we wouldn't be here.
Well, congratulations on third place. I know it's going to be a long, long season, but it's a great way to start.
Yeah, absolutely. So we may have a problem here. I think the motor expired here on the last lap, so we'll be back.
That's the best time for it to expire, for sure. Well, that's it from down here in Victory Lane. We'll throw it back upstairs. 200 laps of Whelen Tour Racing.
And starting back in the 33rd starting position. This gentleman is an independent runner who's competed in a lot of these events. He used a provisional starting spot to get in this year's Spring Sizzler in the Performance Engines Kendall Oil Chevrolet from Riverton, Connecticut, car number 33 for Wade Cole.
Starting 32nd is a native of Rome, New York, who now lives in Kingston, New Hampshire. He's aboard the Harry's Fuel Chevrolet. Here is Jimmy Storrs.
31st starting spot is a gentleman that drives the Newtown Exxon Sunoco Racing Chevrolet. He'll be driving from the 31st starting position from Northampton, Pennsylvania, Eric Beers.
A second-year driver sits in car number 11 from Mattawa, New Jersey. In the A1 Collision Center Chevrolet, here is Anthony Cecily.
From 29th starting spot, the story yesterday was a problem with water in the fuel. He'll be driving the Diversified Metals Chevrolet. Barry Cannell and Sly prepare the automobile. Flamingo Motorsports among the sponsors of the Sanderson and McLeod, number 16, defending series multiple champion, mighty Mike Stefanik from Coventry, Rhode Island.
Next door to him in the 28th starting position, a driver from Riverhead, New York. He's representing the Riverhead Building Supply Company Chevrolet. Here is Kevin Goodale.
27th starting spot goes to the gentleman in event number 1 at the Thompson International Speedway, was the outstanding rookie. He'll be driving the Triple G Scaffolding Chevrolet. From Marshfield, Massachusetts, car number 09 for Bobby Grigas.
The 26th starting position will be occupied by car number 90 from Glastonbury, Connecticut, in the Space Fitters Manili's Catering Chevrolet. It's Rene Dupuis.
25th starting spot goes to car number 99. This gentleman is also a former champion of this series, and he started in more events than perhaps anyone else in the field. The JT Motorsports Ford from Howell, New Jersey. They call him the Jet, car number 99 for Jamie Tomeno.
Our next driver is making his 23rd start in the Spring Sizzler. From Lisbon, Connecticut, in the Dolly's Auto Center, Sunoco Pontiac, it's Carl Pastriak.
23rd starter. You talked about the book and the legendary man. This is his son. From Southington, Connecticut, he'll drive the Red Line Oil Ron Bouchard Auto Chevrolet. Car number 10. Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome Eddie Flemke.
Starting 22nd in our field is the 2003 Whelen Modified Champion from Ridgefield, Connecticut. 10 career victories. Today he's driving the Whisk Snuggle Ford. It's Hot Rod Todd Zegedy.
21st starting spot is an independent runner. Think the color green and you think car number 6. The AP Marcotte VP Racing Fuel Chevrolet. From Groton, Connecticut, car number 6, it is Ronnie Uhouse.
The 20th starting position will belong to car number 1 in the Frasco Fuel Pontiac from Manchester, Connecticut. Here is Rocket Rob Summers.
19th starting spot goes to the Greenfield Dodge, car number 06. If you go to dirt or you went to the Flemington Speedway, you'll remember the name. Well, this is the son of the legend himself, driving car number 06. It is Billy Pouch Jr. from Frenchtown, New Jersey.
Our next driver has racked up 5 career victories on the Whelen Modified Tour. Today he's driving the Hill Enterprises Coors Light Pontiac, car number 79 for Buffalo, New York's Chuck Hosfeld.
17th starting spot, the Crossroads RV Center, Laveris Insurance Company Chevrolet. He has won titles in pro stock competition at just about every short track in the Northeast. From Bridgewater, Massachusetts, car number 46 for Dick Houlihan.
Our next driver, starting 16th, is one of those elite competitors who can say they're a former Spring Sizzler champion. He has had 10 career victories on the tour in the Blewett Motorsport Chevrolet from Howell, New Jersey, car number 66, driven by John Blewett III.
15th starting spot. In event number 1, he was running among the top 3. This is a driver with a ton of talent. He came from the Pro 4 Modified division, from the weekly series, and he's got oil in his veins. He is the son of George Savory, starting 15th with car number 21, the Superior Oil Lombardi Inside Out Chevrolet from Canton, Massachusetts, Richard Savory.
Our next driver, starting 14th, has the home track advantage because he is a 2006 Stafford SK Modified Champ in the Earth Technology Pontiac. He's aboard car number 91. From Cheshire, here is Frank Rocco.
Lucky starting position number 13. The owners of this race car won the greatest race in the history of spring 1 year ago. Tony Stewart drove this car and almost won at New Hampshire International Speedway. The Racing Against Cancer Pontiac. Ladies and gentlemen, the driver of car number 77 from Lebanon, Connecticut, Zach Sylvester.
Last season in Martinsville, Virginia, this driver racked up his first career tour victory. In car number 12 in the TS Haulers United Crane Chevrolet from Howell, New Jersey, here is Jimmy Showtime Blewett.
11th starting spot. The man that turns the wrenches and owns the car is respected as one of the best. The Bear Calaccio Bear Motorsport Chevrolet. From Auburn, Massachusetts, he'll be joining us on our broadcast team in 2007 for NASCAR New England, setting behind the wheel of car number 13, Ricky Fuller.
By his side in the 10th starting position is the 2000 Whelen Tour champion. He's had 19 victories, including a win in the 2004 Spring Sizzler. In the Reynolds Auto Wrecking Chevrolet from Broadbrook, Connecticut, car number 00 for Jerry Marquis.
And starting alongside in the 5th row in position number 9. This gentleman, young as he is, won $50,000 at the Stafford Motor Speedway 1 year ago. He sits behind the wheel of the famed Bowler Racing Enterprises number 3. The Robbie's Propane Cape Cod Copper Chevrolet. Ladies and gentlemen, car number 3 from Millis, Massachusetts, second generation driver, Bobby Santos III.
Climbing aboard one of the most famous machines on the Whelen Modified Tour this year is a driver who has 5 career victories in the Mystic Missile Dodge, car number 4, piloted by Jericho, New York's Donnie Leah.
7th starter to the field will be the Area Auto Racing News Chevrolet. From Trenton, New Jersey, Ralph Solom owns the race car. Car number 0 for Danny Sammons.
Now it's time to meet the all-time winner at the Stafford Motor Speedway. On the Whelen Tour, he has 26 victories. In the A1 Lee Installation Chevrolet, the thrill from Plainville, Ted Christopher.
Starting in position number 5, another talented young driver. He'll be driving the Major Motion Silk Plumbing and Heating Chevrolet, a car prepared by the Grasso brothers from Norwalk, Connecticut. Car number 19, Ronnie Silk.
24 hours ago, this driver grabbed his 2nd career pole, and he set an all-time track record at the Stafford Motor Speedway. From Northampton, Pennsylvania, in the Furnace and Duck Dodge, car number 59, here is Matt Hirschman.
Starting on the inside of the 2nd row. 1 week ago, he won the first stop on the Whelen Modified Tour at the Thompson International Speedway. He drives the Raymar and Hall Liberty Limousine Chevrolet. His time was 18.100. From Meriden, Connecticut, car number 28 for James Savali.
Now it's time to meet the drivers who will make up the front row. In car number 14, this driver has 44 career victories on the Whelen Tour, including 2 Spring Sizzler championships. In the Atlantic Sprinklers Chevrolet from Rocky Hill, Connecticut, the Reggie Ruggiero.
And the man that starts on the point with a time of 18.054 and luck of the draw, the Camco Supply Corporation machine. He won this event in 2005. He's a multiple champion on the Whelen Modified Tour. Ladies and gentlemen, from Northampton, Pennsylvania, car number 48, Tony Hirschman. That is your starting lineup, 33 cars strong. The man of the Whelen Modified Tour, in search of $90,000 in posted awards. Brought to you by your friends at CarQuest. There's a CarQuest store conveniently located near you. And this is the TechNet 36th Annual Spring Sizzler, an event that is billed as the greatest race in the history of spring. The drivers strapped into their automobiles. They're receiving the final words of wisdom from their spotters and the crew chiefs and the brave warriors that are staged behind pit road, ready to do battle. In just a few short moments, we'll be turning things over for those words that will commence the start of this prestigious event. Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention again to the NASCAR Whelen Series marking in the center of the infield, Mr. Tony Sutton and our Grand Marshal with the call.
Well, we've been waiting for this all winter long. We're ready for 200 laps of Whelen Modifying Tour racing, and all we need now from Phil Cruz, the general manager of Whelen, is those words we're waiting for.
Drivers, start your engines.
There's nothing like it when you hear the mighty modifieds make the ground move beneath your feet. I'm Ben Dodge. Along with me here at Broadcast Central is Matt Buckler. We've waited a long time for this one, Matt.
No race on the Whelen Modified Tour Series has more history than this one. It all started in 1972. Fred DeCiro won the first race. If you look at car number 3, that's the way it was painted in 1973, the year that Eddie Flemke won the second Spring Sizzler. So a lot of history today. History will be made today. New drivers, young drivers trying to make a name for themselves. Mike Stefanik trying to become the first guy to win 5 of these Sizzlers.
And that's not the only story here today. You look at the starter stand. The gentleman who stands atop the starter stand, he looks as young as he did when he won that event and brought all of New England to their feet. The legendary Pete Hamilton will be throwing the green flag. You look to turn number 1 at the pace car. The Dodge at the point of the field. Ronnie Bouchard, the Wassa Wassa Kid, is the man that sits behind the wheel of the pace car at the point. These are men that built the foundation of the sport of auto racing, and today it's put to the test again. Off turn number 4, ladies and gentlemen, they're about to go by. Let's get up and give them a yell, get up and give them a wave. This is what racing is all about, New England style. These are the men that live by the grace of God and 600 horsepower. This is what short track racing is all about. 2,600-pound rocket sleds, 13.5 inches of racing rubber. They're set to do battle like gladiators in the arena of days of old. Only one can survive and be the winner. Only one man will get to stand in CarQuest Victory Lane. Lights are really turned off on the safety vehicle at the point of the field, moments away from the start. They head into turn number 3. Look at the CarQuest billboard and the Wheelin' billboard. Those are key sponsors that develop the future of the sport of auto racing. Off turn number 4, we're looking for the start. Pete Hamilton on the starter's stand. This is what modified racing is all about. Here's Matt Buckler with a call as they head to the line.
2 guys in their 50s will get the shindig started. It looks like Tony Hirschman is going to get a little bit of a boost. Hirschman will be our early leader with his son tangling on the back of his back bumper.
Like father, like son, and Junior goes chasing Dad into turn number 3. But that's not the only story here, as already Ted Christopher's muscling his way on the outside, and look at Donnie Leah, the yellow number 4 car. He'll go to the bottom of the racetrack. Bid is for second. Hirschman comes off the turn like a rocket. We're talking about Matt Hirschman in second, and here comes the Reg. High, wide, and handsome off turn number 4.
And Matt Hirschman could be part of the first father and son team ever to win the Spring Sizzler, but he has a battle to hold off the Reggie Ruggiero on the outside, so the outside groove looks tough for both Ruggiero and Ted Christopher.
The team said they didn't think the outside lane would come in till about lap number 50, but somebody forgot to tell Reggie Ruggiero that, because he's looking strong in the outside lane. Ted Christopher, interesting story. A year ago during Sizzler weekend, he drove the Mystique Motorsports number 13. But all of a sudden, things changed drastically all around him. And Christopher took over this race car to win at Jennerstown, Pennsylvania. And he almost won the 2006 title. Brad LaFontaine prepares the race car. Eddie Whelan owns the number 36. And Teddy Christopher's got that Ford literally flying like a Thunderbird off turn number 4.
The best battle at the track is a little deeper, where Ricky Fuller in car number 13 was able to tap dance around the 77 of Zach Sylvester. Billy Bear Coluccio said he had a few surprises for the field today with Ricky Fuller. Ricky actually had to call him to tell him that he's still alive, that his career isn't over yet. So Fuller made the call to Billy Bear Coluccio, and it looks like the two have had a pretty good combination so far.
There is magic there, like with a lot of the other teams. Another driver showing some magic is Jerry Marquis. For quite some time, Joe Brady has not been able to show well on the Whelen Modified Tour. No particular reason. He's had top drivers, but he just hasn't been able to be among the front 5. Today, the story could change. Remember, Jerry Marquis is the backyard kind of a guy. He's used to getting the most out of the least equipment. Joe Brady's race car is not state-of-the-art, but it is a winning car, and he is part of a winning team.
The fastest laps right now, Reggie Ruggiero in car number 14. Tony Hirschman continues to lead. Early in his career, Tony Hirschman had miserable luck at Stafford Speedway, had terrible finishes. He said what he learned to do, he took everything he knew, did the exact opposite.
Trouble. Ruggiero went up the racetrack. He lost 2 positions, and Donnie Leah takes over the 4th spot. Now, 1 week ago at Thompson International Speedway, Leah and the Garbarino team made a costly mistake. They did not pit for tires, and it cost them dearly. Today, we'll see if that's going to be their strategy. Leah's got Garbarino's V4 literally running strong in the 4th spot. That's how they stand 10 laps in.
I think Tony Hirschman said it best as Zach Sylvester tries to crank it underneath the 3 of Bobby Santos, and Santos able to hold him off. Hirschman said, you can go 200 laps without changing tires today, but you're not going to win.
Zach Sylvester in a dogfight battle with the Santos youngster as they head down into turn number 3, and Sylvester picks up a spot there. Here comes Ricky Fuller. That could be the Cinderella story of this event. Fuller set up the majority of last season because he did not have a ride and said, I'm really too young to retire, but I want to run and run up front. And if I don't have the equipment to do it, I'm just going to set on the sideline. That's what we're seeing today. He is running up front. Let's set the field for you. 13 laps in. Tony Hirschman is still your leader. Son Matt Hirschman is second. Ted Christopher is third. Fourth spot is Donnie Leah, and fifth position is James Savali. Sixth is Ruggiero. Seventh spot is Silt. Eighth spot is Marquis. Ninth spot is Salmon, and 10th is Zach Sylvester. That's the way they run, single file down into turn 3.
Now, two drivers running in the 18.5s, Donnie Leah and also Danny Salmon's. Trouble as a car drifts up as brushes the wall, and the yellow comes out.
It is the 21 car, we believe, for Richard Savory, that spins beneath the Sunoco markings between turns 3 and 4.
First caution.
Yes, first caution comes out 15 laps into the record books.
What do you think's on Tony Hirschman's mind as he looks to his right and he sees his son next to him in the front row? He's got to be a proud moment, but right now he's also thinking about getting a quick start.
Off the turn, picture perfect, they come down to the line. Father taught son well. Down into turn number 1.
But father knows best.
He sure does, as Christopher snookers his way into second. Trouble down the back straightaway.
Frank Rocco all over a car as Rocco went for a wild ride.
Carl
Juhas involved.
Yep, Carl Pastriak is involved in the car that faces the grandstand area with a blue hood and the white body is Bobby Santos III.
And look at Chuck Hosfeld's car as it comes across the start-finish line. Frank Rocco landed on that car and caved in the top of that car in.
The Hillbilly Racing Enterprises car, the car and the team that travels the furthest to get to the races here in the northeastern region of the country. There's a good look at it. Look at the Diamond Vision screen. Chuck Hosfeld cannot even see out of the windshield of that race car because the roof is literally not only peeled off, but it is bent down directly in front of him. So
he is Doppler radar to make that
he
one
is
move.
looking in between and in betwixt, as the old saying goes. And you know, the sun isn't out bright, but it's not a bad day for a convertible. They've taken that off and they've actually put a cap on the end of the fuel cell itself. Off turn number 4, back to green. Tony Hirschman leads Matt Hirschman to the bottom of turn number 1. Then it's Ted Christopher, James Savali. Hosfeld is coming back out on pit road. He did not lose a lap. Down in turn 3. Good battle going on. Here comes Christopher. Look at Christopher. Car number 36 is going to the front.
He gets the advantage against Hirschman as they blast their way into the second corner. A new leader, Ted Christopher, is taken over the top spot.
James Savali says just because he's Ted Christopher, that doesn't make him better than I. He follows him through, and Donnie Leah says it's time for the V4 to go submarine diving into third to take over the third spot. Meanwhile, Hirschman sets in fourth. And look out, here comes Jerry Marquis. He's a top 5 contender. Zach Sylvester, the wrench, and Ronnie Silk are in it among the top 10.
And moving into 13th place, remember he started 29th, Mike Stefanik. Right now he's found a home behind Todd Zegedy in the 2 car, so Stefanik has picked up 14 positions since the start of the race.
Well, he is out in front, and Ted Christopher knows this track like the back of his hand. He's the all-time winningest driver. Remember a year ago when he won this, was a strong contender to win this event, how determined he was to show that muscle and show that talent, and he's showing it again here today. Reggie Ruggiero is the one that's backpedaling, Matt. He started up front, and he has now dropped out of the bottom of the top 10 because Mike Stefanik is right there to contend with him. He's coming to the front. Currently, Ruggiero sets in 11th.
Well, Zegedy got by him very easily, and now Mike Stefanik is able to duplicate the move So Stefanik is on the outskirts of the top 10. Amazing, in 32 laps, he's been able to maneuver his way from 29th place into the mainstream.
Stefanik is very, very patient. Whatever he does in the racetrack, he knows how to get the most out of the race car. Another patient driver is directly in front of him, and that is Todd Szegedy with the number 2 car. So there are now 33 of the 200 laps into the record books in this CarQuest Spring Sizzler. Teddy Christopher leads James Savali. Third is Donnie Leah. Fourth is early leader Tony Hirschman. And fifth is Jerry Marquis. Sixth position, Matt Hirschman. Seventh spot, Ronnie Silk. Eighth position, Zach Sylvester. Ninth spot, Danny Salmons. And 10th, the Wiss Tablet machine of Todd Szegedy. Just out of the top 10 is Mike Stefanik.
Well, two drivers with very similar techniques at the front of the field. Ted Christopher and James Savali. Both had a reputation early in the year for maybe being on the reckless side. And I think the last couple of years, Ted Christopher, at least on the tour, has kind of calmed his act down. And so has James Savali this year.
They're starting to string it out just a bit, and that's kind of the strategy. Remember, they have to go 200 circuits. And for the Whelen Modified Tour, this is the longest event at the start of the season. They just competed 150 circuits at the Thompson International Speedway. So they know what happens there, but they're not sure what will happen on 200 times around the half mile here. So everybody's starting to settle in. They're in their race pattern. They're not going to show their cards yet. Well, somebody forgot to tell James Savali that, Matt. He's all over the back bumper of Teddy Christopher. We'll let you use one of those classic lines.
As he is all over the back bumper like gum on the bottom of Ted Christopher's shoe, and Christopher just can't shake him loose.
And the putty knife could be Donnie Leah with that number 4 car. Look at Leah. He coming off that turn like a rocket. That's a 100-powered race car. He is all over the James Savali car. And look at him dive to the inside. Bonsai move to the bottom. Leah has taken over second.
Well, what a nice springboard move, and Leah made it look very easy.
On pit road, Jim Storis, car number 47. Back to the stripe. Last time by, Ted Christopher, 18.598. Donnie Leah, 18.658. James Savali, 19.045. Those aren't time trial laps. They're feature event laps, Matt.
And if those times are accurate, it will mean that in about a handful of laps, Donnie Leah will be even with Ted Christopher. Everybody able to get around Jim Storis, whose father used to work on the crew of one of the modified legends, Richie Evans. Jimmy is relocated to New Hampshire, and right now he's being lapped by Reggie Ruggiero.
So there's good action right there. Another good battle going on just out of the top 10, probably about the 13th or 14th position, is Ricky Fuller and Jimmy Beluit. They're dicing things up, and nobody's going to give up any real estate there. If you know both of those drivers, they come to race. They don't come to play games. But it visually appears that the number 4 car for Leah is quicker now than the leader. Now, you might be amazed at that statistic. How can the guy in the lead, Teddy Christopher, be slower than the guy in second? But the fact of the matter is that is the story, and it won't be long before Leah is going to be all over and maybe in the glove compartment of Teddy Christopher's number 36.
And Christopher and Leah have combined to put some separation between themselves and the 28 of Savali. Now Zach Sylvester, it looks like he's starting to get anxious, and so is Mike Stefanik, as he has closed up the gap between himself and Todd Szegedy. That's a battle for 10th between Szegedy and Stefanik.
That race car that Zach Sylvester is running was built specifically for Tony Stewart to showcase modified racing at New Hampshire International Speedway. And on that day, the spoiler of the group, they said, says the experts go, was Jerry Marquis, but in reality, it was just hard racing. And, well, Tony Stewart didn't have the success that he wanted to have. The Chase family put that car together, picked up some sponsorship from Foxwood Casino and Racing Against Cancer, and put young Zach Sylvester behind the wheel. A lot of the experts are kind of surprised. Last year, it would be trouble now. Ronnie Uhouse hits at a ton. on the top side of the racetrack in turn number 4. And you can see the front wheels going in opposite directions here. That's not a good start for U-House. We are on the 48th circuit under caution.
He is able to backpedal that car in the turn. Ronnie Uhas didn't even know he was going to compete on the tour this year until 3 weeks before the season started. That's when he finally made up his mind.
Let's go back to green off turn number 4. 36 and 4 make up the front row. Christopher and Leah. Christopher, slight advantage on the start. Leah looks to pull it back into formation. Meanwhile, look at Ronnie Silk. Silk goes to the outside of Matt Hirschman. Sammons is struggling in front of Stefanik. And Ricky Fuller and Jimmy Blewett are right there, contenders at the bottom of the top 10.
Good move by Ronnie Silk, however, to pick up a spot against Matt Hirschman. So Ronnie Silk now has a top 5 car.
There was a time in modified racing that the entire field was Chevrolets. Then a gentleman by the name of Sonny Cazella came along and put a Ford in his race car for drivers like Bugsy Stevens and Kenny Bouchard, and they won a ton of races in the in the late 90s and into the era of 2000. It was the Ford that came back to life again. Car number 36 is Ford powered. The car that sets in second is Chevrolet. The car that sets in third and fourth is Chevrolet. But the strongest Fords in the field are Ted Christopher and Todd Zegedy. Those are the 2 Fords. Stefanik is another big factor as well.
Well, you could see the difference the new tires are making for Reggie Ruggiero as he just dives bombs underneath Rene Dupuis, and James Savali able to duplicate that move. Short putting, to explain it very quickly. You go in to change your tires before everybody else and hopes that those tires that you change will last for the rest of the race. You get your track position back when the other drivers take their normal pit stops, and maybe you can steal a victory. Perhaps that's a strategy being employed today by both Reggie Ruggiero and James Savali.
Well, if it's not the story, Ruggiero is going to be in a world of trouble a little bit later in this event, Matt, because you remember they can't put as many tires as they want to on. By any means, they can only put on 4.
That's a limit for tires 4 during the 200-lap race, of course, unless one gets flat. But as Tony pointed out, the tire wear for James Savali was pretty good. So maybe that's an indication that the new tires can last for 150 laps.
Car number 1 is coming back out of the pit area, and that, of course, is the Robbie Summers car. They haven't had a great deal of luck at all. He won a big event just a week ago at the New London Waterford Speed Bowl.
And that was in a true value race. Right now it is looks like it has Heinz ketchup in the gas tank as it hobbles on the bottom groove. Things are heating up between Ronnie Silk and Matt Hirschman, so 2 of the younger drivers tangling up with Zach Sylvester right behind them. Ted Christopher has the field covered for the time being, but the way Ted runs his car and sometimes can beat up those tires, you would think he would be one of the drivers who definitely couldn't go 200 laps without making a change.
Savali now coming up on Richard Savory. The rookie gives him a shot to the bumper, says, get out of my way. I've got to get up with the reg and follow him to the front of the class. Incidentally, both of those race cars are Raceworks chassis race cars. What does that mean? It means they were built by Reggie Ruggiero and Eddie Flemke, okay? So there's a little bit of strategy as well. If one short pitted, the other did the same. They do a comparison and they check their notes, and those 2 teams, they might know something that somebody else might not be aware of. We'll have to see if that's going to be the story. Leah's closed it all up, by the way, with that yellow 4 car. The Bob Garbarino Mystic Missile just doing a good job of staying right up front in the competition here.
And Tony Hirschman in 3rd place has also picked it up. Here's Leah making a dive bomb move underneath Ted Christopher. Christopher trying to hang on, and it looks like he was able to shut the door.
Ted Christopher goes right to the bottom of the racetrack, puts the left front wheel down there in that imaginary line that's literally wore out. You don't even see it anymore. That's how close they run to it. And right there with him is the 4 car for Donnie Leah. And Hirschman's got the best seat in the house to watch, but he's not a watcher, he's a contender. So the laps tick away, 67 and counting in this 200-lap event presented by CarQuest.
And remember, when it comes to making your tires last, the master of that is Tony Hirschman. Gets better tire wear than anybody else in the Whelen Modified Tour.
He sure does, and that is going to be a big factor later in this event. Let's take a look a little further back in the field. We mentioned Mike Stefanik. Yesterday afternoon, he had a problem with water in the fuel cell and water in the lines. And that was one of the problems, but even a bigger problem was the fact they couldn't figure out how it got there. Did it get there by mistake? Did it get there through a problem? Or did it get there by some other way? And that really bothered the team of car number 16.
Well, it's been a pretty interesting battle between Stefanik and Jimmy Blewett over the past 10 or 12 laps or so. Stefanik was able to breeze by Danny Sammons to get back into the top 10. He hasn't been as successful tracking down Showtime.
Great action there. Further back in the field, Eddie Flemke and Bobby Grigas running nose to tail.
John Blewett's picked it up a little bit. He is now 21st in the field. So that last pit stop might have been beneficial for Blewett as he tries to stalk the 90 of Rene Dupuis.
Good racing action there as they come and work their way towards the front. Matt Hirschman is really applying the pressure to Ronnie Silk. Now that race car there was driven by Jimmy Blewett to several victories at the new Smyrna Speedway in the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing at the start of this season. And Jimmy Blewett told me, the Grasso brothers know how to make a car turn. And if you really study that car, Matt, you'll see it looks exactly like Bear's car. Trouble now, Rene Dupuis spins off turn number 4 to bring out yet another yellow. 73 laps in to the CarQuest Spring Sizzler. We're back under caution. Rene Dupuis spins the number 90 car, as it looks like this could be the caution that could set off a wholesale of cars heading down on pit road. We'll watch pit road now.
Okay,
Let's see.
Green flag. The pits are open.
Is Teddy Christopher going to snooker him and stay out? He does.
Oh,
Donnie Leah leads the parade.
that was a pretty good curveball thrown by Ted Christopher.
And Leah says there's no speedometers in this car, and I'm not going to have my hand slapped by going too fast down on pit road as the first guy down there. So he sets the pace. Tony Sutton is in Tony Hirschman's pit. Tony, give us the
Well,
call.
all three cars, Hirschman 48 in, crew over the wall. They made an air pressure adjustment prior to him coming in. Zegedy is in, Leah's in 4. Right side tires on the 48 as they also put fuel in. Zegedy's car, the number 2, tires right side, fuel in the car. Also, the 4 car, up in the air, they've got tires on the right side they've put in, and they're making a slight adjustment on the car. Zegedy taking 3 tires off on the number 2 car, as well as Hirschman going with 3 tires as the tire man gets the tire off in the left rear. Oh, Zegedy's got to back up. He's really tight in the pits. Zegedy has to pull around Hirschman, who's still working to get his tire changed. All 4 tires on the Camco number 48.
The story is not that car, it's the 4 car. It was one of the first cars in, actually was the first car in, and it is about the 12th car out. Shame on them.
And James Savali went back into the pit to make an adjustment on that car.
So there's your leader crossing the stripe now, the Ali number 36 car for Ted Christopher. And guess what? You know the little children's story, the little train that could? Guess what? The Bear has got the little train that could. Never count out the Bear and his number 13 car. Let's see what's going to happen off turn number 4. Ted Christopher on the inside of the front row. Ricky Fuller in second. Jamie Tomeno, Billy Pouch Jr. right there with the 06. There's a surprise, and the Reg is back up to the top 5.
And Ricky Fuller smartly tucks it underneath the 36. It's too early to race him for the lead.
Billy Pouch Jr. shows he's got oil in his veins. He sets in the 4th spot, is now Reggie Ruggiero works his way to the inside. And guess who's with him? His partner in work and crime, Eddie Flemke. We haven't talked about him all day long, but he's now among the top 6 cars. James Savali is 7th, and Mighty Mike is back with car number 16.
Eddie Flemke, known for his unique pit strategy as he has stayed out for the distance so far. Billy Pouch, 12th last week at the Icebreaker. His best finish ever in a modified was 8th at the Turkey Derby last year, so he is learning asphalt in a hurry. Most of his experience is in dirt modifieds.
17 laps to the halfway point in this event, so we are just short of the halfway marker. Mike Stefanik, James Savali, and Todd Zegedy have a nice battle going on. That's for the 7th, 8th, and 9th position here. So keep your eyes on that pack of cars as well. And oh, by the way, Donnie Leah, Zach Sylvester, and Matt Hirschman are still in the middle of the mix in this one. They're just running at the bottom of the top 20, and they won't stay there for long. You can bet on that, Matt.
Savali trying to hold his own against Todd Zegedy, who is looming on his outside. As Zegedy has Savali has the fresher tires, but you really can't tell by the way they're going at it now, because it looks like Stefanik and maybe the 00 at Jerry Marquis might be faster.
It's good to see Jerry Marquis running so strong with the 00 car, as he is very, very impressive here, following Savali towards the front of the field. Another great day for Jamie Tomeno. He kind of always runs under the radar. A lot of people say he's, oh, trouble. The
Ouch.
06 gets crossed up. Flemke's involved. Left front tire peeled back on car number 10.
And Billy Pouch winds up resting against the barrier. Also involved is Anthony Cecily in car number 11.
So we've got yet another caution, 87 laps in. Robbie Summers' car looks to be pushed behind the wall. Here's the story. 5th caution of the event involves 3 cars. It comes out on lap number 87. It started with Billy Pouch Jr. with the 06. The 11 was involved of Cecily, and the victim of circumstances became car number 10 for Ed Flemke Jr. So 88 now clicks off on the board.
What do you think, Ben? You think Ted Christopher goes in this time, changes tires?
You know, it's tough to stay on this one because Christopher, Brad LaFontaine, and the crew of that race car, they beat to their own drum. They're not going to play the game like everybody else plays
You're
the
right.
game.
This is the way Ted Christopher likes to do
That's
it.
right.
If this is his ideal race, he wants to be the last car to change tires, so then he can blast his way through the field. Ted Christopher is confident in his ability to pass cars, so if this is a perfect race for Ted and that car is good, he'll wait until the end as we check out the Diamond Vision, and let's see if we can find out what happened in this 3-car skirmish. Jerry Marquis, the 00, to the right of your screen.
He reels in on the back bumper of Savali, and it just looks like the 06 might have lost it, man. Got it a little too deep, and the back end started to come around.
And Eddie Flemke trying to avoid him, it might have cost him a tire.
As once again, Teddy Christopher and Ricky Fuller paired up in row number 1. Row number 2, the Reg and Mike Stefanik. Fuller, oh! Savali and Marquis almost come together.
Marquis almost grazed the wall.
Down the back straightaway, Mighty Mike Stefanik is up to 2nd. The Sanderson and McLeod, number 16, is flying. The Flamingo has got its wings spread wide. Keep your eyes on that car as he's going to the outside of Teddy Christopher. Christopher spotters telling him, I don't know where he came from, but he's there. Wow.
And he is close enough to fog up that back window. So Stefanik is right there in the neighborhood. Now Reggie Ruggiero trying to get to the outside of Ricky Fuller.
Last lap by, 18.824 for Ted Christopher. 18.825 for the driver of car number 16.
Now, there have been 35 previous Spring Sizzlers, Ben. Here's an amazing stat. The guys who make up the top 5 right now are responsible for 15 of those 35 victories, led by Mike Stefanik, who has 4 of them.
He sure has, and I want to tell you one other statistic. Here comes Jerry Marquis. He's moving into the 3rd spot. Joe Brady hasn't had a race car run like that since Stephen Park sat behind the wheel. As now the Joe Brady car's up to third. When did Stefanik pit? Lap number 75. So his tires are 75 laps fresher than our leaders.
Mid-condition compared to Christopher's tires. Jerry Marquis, it was almost amazing to think that during the winter he did not have a ride for the season. He had to come up with his own sponsors, made a deal with Joe Brady. He said that was the best economical deal that he could make. Got a couple of sponsors on board. A couple of his sponsors don't even want their names mentioned, Ben. They just want to help Jerry Marquis race.
He's a guy that deserves that help. He's been around the sport a long time, and as I mentioned at the start of this race, he can get the most out of a little, and there are very few drivers that can do that. Anybody can sit behind the wheel of a winning race car that has a winning crew chief and make magic with a certain amount of skill. Jerry Marquis is one of those people that he'll make up the difference. Reggie Ruggiero is reeling him in as we speak. A little further back, Zach Sylvester and Donnie Leah have a dogfight battle going on, and that battle is for the 11th and 12th position currently as we speak. When they cross the line, Matt, 100 circuits into the record books, halfway. Ted Christopher is your leader at the halfway. Mike Stefanik is second. Third is Jerry Marquis. Fourth at the halfway is Reggie Ruggiero. Fifth is Todd Zegedy. Sixth is Ricky Fuller. Seventh is James Savali. Eighth is Danny Sammons. Ninth is Tony Hirschman. And unofficially in the 10th spot is John Blewett. Just out of the top 10, Leah Sylvester and Jimmy Blewett.
But the guy with the antique tires is opening up some distance between himself and Mike Stefanik. Ted Christopher on a rampage. And as Donnie Leah comes around, there's some damage on the right rear of that car. And I don't remember Leah getting hit from behind, but there is some damage on that machine. It doesn't seem to be slowing him down.
It does not. It looks like somebody might have rode up onto the rear bumper and the rear Nerf bar of the car, as now Sylvester is still working him over. Meanwhile, remember the days of old? Back at Riverside Park Speedway when Jerry Marquis and Reggie Ruggiero battle like this lap after lap after lap. Well, it's happening again some 10 years later.
Jerry Marquis had great success at Riverside Park driving for Bob Judkins. 3 straight championships for Judkins, most victories ever in one season, and he said Joe Brady, his temperament is very similar to Bob Judkins. When Joe is very laid back and he lets Jerry Marquis just kind of do what he wants to do as far as driving the car, and Jerry says he really appreciates that kind of ownership, to where the driver will, the owner will just be laid back and let Marquis do the heavy lifting.
Donnie Leah just slingshot down underneath John Blewett's race car, and alongside of Blewett now is Zach Sylvester. There wasn't a time very long ago when Blewett sat behind the wheel of the 77 car. Now he's racing with that car to pick up a position. And younger brother Jimmy Blewett says, "Thanks, big brother. This setup is working because I'm just going right by you down in turn 3."
Meanwhile, it is single file until we get to the Blewett brothers. Right behind them, it's a long way to go between Bobby Grigas and car number 09. Bobby was only a couple of years ago. He was a rookie in the late models at Thompson Speedway. Last year he competed on the True Value Series, and this year he decided to make the move up to the Whelen Modified Tour, and in his first race was Rookie of the Race. Not a bad way to start your Whelen career.
Leaders come up on lap traffic. 108 circuits are complete.
Well, Matt Hirschman.
Trouble now. Matt Hirschman cuts down a right rear tire off turn number 4.
And that must have been going down for a while, Ben, because he had slowed down to a crawl.
We go back to yellow. 109 circuits show on the board. Car number 36 is still your leader for Ted Christopher. Let's see what's going to happen. He pulls down. He's coming in. Ted Christopher comes down on pit road. Car number 36 leads the parade. Reggie Ruggiero, Ricky Fuller, and James Savali. Let's go to Tony Sutton in Christopher's pit stall. Tony.
Ted Christopher's crew is up on the wall. They are over the wall. Their car number 36 is in. The jacks are underneath. Right side tires going on first as Christopher sits anxiously in the seat. Right front is off. Right rear is on. They come around the car. They're going back over the wall for more tires. Left front's coming off now as the jack goes under. Jack is up. Tires off. Replacement tire is on as the crew starts to wail away with the air wrenches, trying to get the 36 back out on the racetrack. Waiting on the rear tires, one more nut to tighten up. Jack down and Christopher's away.
And now it gets to be fun, Ben, to watch Ted Christopher battle his way from the back of the pack.
He's got stickers on. You can see the white stickers on the top of the tire itself. You know, there's a superstition among a lot of the teams. They will not peel those stickers off. They really believe if you put a new tire on and you peel it off, you're going to have bad luck. The tire is going to go flat, you're going to cut it, or whatever the case is. That's why you see those leave them stickers on. This sport is filled with superstition.
You know, I'm glad you told me that, Ben, because for years I thought those stickers were price tags. So I'm glad you set the record straight today.
Trust me, I used to own some of these race cars.
You paid for enough of them.
I paid for enough. They're not price tags. Price tags would be much larger than those stickers, for sure.
Just to fit all those numbers on them. 113 laps to go.
4 to 5 p.m. Back to Ben and Matt.
We're back on lap number 116. Mike Stefanik leads the parade down at turn 1. Scramble. Chaos off turn number 4. In the middle of all of this is Frank Rocco, Ricky Fuller, Eric Beers, Anthony Cecily, and Matt Hirschman drives away. So
and three cars in pretty bad shape right on the front straightaway. There's a lot of liquid being dumped onto the track.
Well, the Eric Beers car said severely damaged. Remember, Beers had to start way in the back of the pack, but he is able to pull away. Kevin Crowley is the crew chief. That name might ring a bell with you. He was the crew chief last year for Zach Sylvester, the year before that for Donnie Leah. Been around the sport a long time. He's one of the motorhome crowd that travels from race to race. And he teams up with Eric Beers. They're longtime buddies and friends, but they haven't had a lot of luck here. Frank Rocco was involved in that early skirmish, and then Ricky Fuller, a victim of circumstances again, and there goes your job security, Matt.
Well, if Frank Rocco had an in-car camera, it would look like a Stephen King movie, the way he has had an adventuresome afternoon, landing on top of Chuck Hosfeld's car early in the race and getting tangled with Rick Fuller in car number 13. So it looks like the Bears' prediction that he had something in store for everybody. Unfortunately, it comes to an end on lap number 117. Kind of unusual how Eric Beers got to drive that 94 car, Ben. When the Gaydosh family wanted to go back into racing, first they didn't hire the driver, they hired the crew chief, Kevin Crowley, and Kevin Crowley picked the driver, and it was Eric Beers.
Going to tell you another little story here you're going to find very interesting. The first modified that the Gaydosh family owned, they bought it from Bob Judkins. It was the 2X driven by the late Dave Caruso at Riverside Park Speedway. So see how the number 2X keeps coming back into the mix on this Sizzler weekend.
It's in attendance here and on the midway, that 2X driven by Eddie Flemke, of course, Jerry Marquis aboard the 2X, Gene Bergen. A lot of people have been aboard that legendary race car, and it's amazing that the history keeps repeating itself here at the Spring Sizzler. 118 laps into the race, and Mike Stefanik trying to be the first driver to win 5 of these, as he has the upper hand against Jerry Marquis. Marquis has won a 200-lap race here and also a 300-lap racer, and I think he's the only driver ever to do both.
Mighty Mike Stefanik and Jerry Marquis. Row number 2, it is Todd Zegedy. We're ready to go racing off turn number 4. Danny Sammons is in the hunt. They squiggle down to the line. It is a battle at the point. Looks like Marquis by a nose. Yes, he's done it. Jerry Marquis has taken over the top spot.
And he timed it perfectly, and he is able to clear this.
Trouble down the back straightaway.
Beers in the middle of that one in car number 94. Also, John Blewett III in car number 66.
Caution flag comes out. It looks like Ronnie Silk's car is the final car to set stranded on the racetrack. It is car number 19, and what a restart it was. Jerry Marquis moved into the lead with an outside move. He started in the 10th starting spot, and believe you me, this is the best day that Joe Brady's had in a long time here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Great run for Jerry Marquis. Karen, they're a family operation, and they're really just hard-working folks. So let's see what two of the tough guys of the sport do for themselves down into turn number 1.
Well, he worked hard on that restart, but a resurgence for Stefanik.
Marquis still right there. Trouble down the back straightaway.
Dick Houlihan on the grass along with Ted Christopher.
Christopher makes it back out. Houlihan spins in front of the photographers. That's not a victory photo. And while that's happening, here comes Zach Sylvester to contend with Mighty Mike Stefanik.
Szegedy got past Stefanik for second.
Jerry Marquis still leads the parade as they come off the turn. Little further back, some slicing and dicing going on as Reggie Ruggerio's trying to come back to the front. Savory's battling with Jimmy Blewett, door handle to door handle.
Now, Todd Zegedy's 31st birthday will be next Sunday. I don't think he'll mind if he can start the celebration this Sunday as he starts to close the gap between he and Marquis.
Said he wanted to do this till he was 50. He says, I got 29 more years to be able to do it, and I hope I can when I'm 50 years old. Keep winning and running up front like this, you'll be here for a long, long time.
His crew chief, Phil Moran, left this year to go to Davis Racing, and he said maybe his crew is even better this year because they had 3 new members to take Phil Moran's place.
Meanwhile, a little further back, Donnie Leah is coming towards the front of the field. He just moved into 7th. James Savali is in the 8th spot. Bobby Grigas is in 9th, and Jimmy Blewett is 10th. Where's Reggie Ruggerio? Just out of the top 10 in 12th.
And some smoke coming deeper in the field as the car in trouble is Anthony Cecily in car number 11, leaving a vapor trail behind him.
Cecily's car
now spins in his own liquid.
Yep, the Nerf bar was rubbing on the right rear. That's the smoke that you saw, and that brings out a yellow. 135 laps now complete. We are on our 9th caution of the event. 4 different leaders. Back on pit road, Teddy Christopher. It's a quick pit stop, Matt. Came in, they checked something on the tires of the race car, and they sent him back out. Jimmy Blewett is in. Houlihan is in. Bobby Grigas is in. But we're about to go back to green flag conditions. Car number 00, Jerry Marquis is your leader. Todd Szegedy is in 2nd. 3rd position is still Mike Stefanik. 4th is Zach Sylvester. 5th is Tony Hirschman. Danny Salmons in 6th. We're green and racing.
And Ted Christopher will be the 19th and final car on the lead lap. What a start by Jerry Marquis. It looked like Szegedy might have something for him, but the biggest holster was belonging to by Jerry Marquis.
Szegedy's all over his back bumper, taps him, lets him know he's there. Marquis opens up the door on the inside. Was that a smart move, trying to gain as much momentum as possible? Brings it back down, and Marquis still sets the pace off turn number 2, 19.170. Szegedy's time, 19.311.
Donnie Leah gets underneath to Zach Sylvester.
Leah knows the clock is ticking. Final 60 when they cross the line that time, Matt.
And Ted Christopher, about 16th place, has picked up 3 spots in the last couple of laps. The sparks are flying between Marquis and Szegedy. Here comes Szegedy with that Knievel move down low, but it's not strong enough to derail Marquis.
It's still Marquis, the leader of the pack. Szegedy still in 2nd. Stefanik is still 3rd. 4th spot, still Hirschman.
Christopher on the outside, getting around Goodale. Almost 3 wide, and now Christopher has to tuck it in behind Goodale.
Christopher driving like a man possessed. He goes high and low on the racetrack, and he knows that he needs to get up with the front pack of cars. and he doesn't have a great deal of time to do it. He is among the quickest cars on the racetrack, by the way. 18.819 was Christopher's last circuit by, but Kevin Goodale is not giving Christopher a break. There's no breaks in this game. It's all out racing.
He's having a very difficult time to get underneath Goodale. Once again, Goodale drifted up high, giving him an opening, and Christopher could not take advantage of it.
But the leader is still Jerry Marquis. This time when they cross the stripe, lap number 145 clicks off. The Whist Tablets machine of Szegedy still running in second. Stefanik is still in third. And Christopher cannot get around Kevin Goodale. And that is really kind of surprising, to be honest with you, Matt.
It looked like he was going to use a front bumper that time to try to wedge an opening. Thought better of it. Richard Savory having a great run in 7th place. Remember, he was involved in a couple of situations earlier on in this race.
That's what I like about Savory. He's a rookie, but he doesn't give up. So he's coming right back to the front of the field. But leader is still Marquis. Salmons.
Now Christopher has leverage underneath Goodale.
Not enough though, Matt. He was there, but not enough. Tries it again. Oh, they touch. Kevin Goodale goes spinning like a top. And guess what? There might be damage done to the Christopher race car. We're not sure.
Didn't see much of it that time when he came around.
Down into turn number 1, Matt Hirschman came in contact with Christopher. What do you think happened there? So the caution comes out on lap number 148.
Well, you didn't need a crystal ball to know that something was about to happen between the 58 and the 36 as Ted Christopher goes on to pit road.
Yep,
there is damage to that right front tire.
And some of the fans seem to be cheering that situation while other fans are disappointed with the outcome of that. Tony Sutton's in Ted Christopher's pit as we speak. Tony.
Well, he's in here. The front end's been knocked out. One of the steering arms has been broken on the 36. The crew is going to work on it right now. They've got the part, but they're going to have to do some fast work to get him out because it's going to take a couple of moments to change the piece, but then they have to set the toe.
When they cross the stripe, as they head off turn number 4, 150 laps are complete. It's a 50-lap Saturday night shootout held on a Sunday afternoon to the checker. And Jerry Marquis has been the dominant car. Up front, Todd Szegedy still in second. Stefanik is still third. Tony Hirschman in the 4th spot. Donnie Lee is 5th. Zach Sylvester is 6th. Richard Savory is 7th. Danny Salmons is 8th. Then it's Reggie Ruggiero in the 9th spot. James Savali in 10th. Matt?
Ted Christopher is going to be a lap down, Ben, at least one lap down. So his chances of winning his 4th Spring Sizzler have just evaporated on lap number 150. Chuck Hosfeld, you have to give him some kind of trophy because that car, it looks like something that should be in Fred Sanford's backyard and not on a racetrack. As junky as it looks, he is running 11th. Hirschman is 12th, Matt Hirschman, followed by Jamie Tomeno and Rene Dupuis. As you would check out the Diamond Vision, and let's see if we can see what happened between the 58 of Goodale and the 36 of Christopher.
There's the 58 leading him into the turn. Christopher goes low. They come in contact. The 59 gets on the binders. The 59 was not a factor. Now let's see down the other end if we caught the action.
Watch the right rear tire at Ted Christopher here, and you'll see why it was out of shape right there.
Little slap shock action there. But the 59 got away.
There is a play from another angle.
There's the 36 to the bottom. And there's contact.
Well, nothing happened there to make Matt Hirschman angry.
Good start. Oh, the Ford of Szegedy. Big top end. The Chevy of Marquis holds it down. Here comes Stefanik.
Stefanik getting underneath Hirschman to move into third.
Leah is there, and so isn't Sylvester. Back to the stripe. Marquis leads the parade.
Jerry Marquis, first championship at Stafford 1980 in the All-American division, which has disappeared for many years, but he has always run well here at Stafford. It looked like he had relinquished the lead going into turn one. Salmon's in the wall.
Anthony Cecily spins after the fact, but underneath the NASCAR wheeling All-American Series, Danny Salmons, who had to run up front in the top 10 all afternoon, and Ralph Solom's race car, spun between turns 3 and 4 to bring out yet another yellow. 158 now showing. We're going back to green. Deja vu, what we saw the last time. Will it show out the same as car number 00? Jerry Marquis gets a nice run. But look at Szegedy. He is so strong in the outside lane. Marquis holding it down rather nicely. Donnie Leah could be the spoiler in this match.
Leah making contact with the back bumper of Zegedy's car. Now Leah veers to the outside. Stefanik advantage, trouble on turn 3.
Renee Dupuy spins, is trying to get it fired back up. She does. Bumper bent down, dragging on the back of the race car. We go back to yellow. 160 shows on the board.
Now we have a car also pinned in turn 4.
Guess who it is? It's the Reg,
Double R.
Reggie Ruggiero.
John Reggie Ruggiero.
Yep.
Well, you have to think with this plethora of yellow flags that it has to hurt a guy like Stefanik, whose car is tight, who wants a long green flag run to loosen that car up. That hasn't been the case in the last 15 or 20 minutes because we have had a rash of yellow.
And there is the Reg. You can see the damage done to the right front. It's literally not turning, it's just scuffing. So we're going to take a look at this on our replay here and see if we can figure out what happened here. There's the Reg to the outside of Savory. And it appears the 48 of Hirschman faltered, and the Reg had no place to go. Little contact there.
Hirschman had the hiccup, and Ruggiero was the one who had the belch.
It was Joe Brady who said he can, he will, he saw, and maybe he'll conquer this year's Spring Sizzler. Off turn number 4, looking the field over, preparing for the start, and it is green, a single file restart.
And I don't think it'll take Donnie Leah long to join.
Trouble further back. Savory got bounced around with Savali. As now Savory's lost about 6 positions on the racetrack.
Let's see how long it takes Donnie Leah to join the top twosome.
165 just clicked off. Marquis is hungry. He's here to prove a point, and he is proving that point. As Todd Szegedy is all over his back bumper. Donnie Leah still sitting in the 3rd spot in the car that Jerry Marquis drove 1 year ago in this exact event. Stefanik in the 4th spot. And Zach Sylvester is running the top 5 all afternoon.
Tony Hirschman not very far away in the number 6 position. James Savale, a gap between he and Hirschman in the battle for 6th.
The Reg, Reggie Ruggiero, looks like he's bringing that car behind the wall, and he does.
Remember when Marquis won the Sizzler in 2004? Tony Hirschman said he had the best car. Couldn't get around Marquis. Now Szegedy giving it a shot.
Bonsai move to the bottom of the racetrack. Todd Szegedy into the lead by a bumper, by a hood, by a whole race car as they come back to the line. Donnie Leah moves to the inside of Jerry Marquis. Leah into 2nd. Marquis back to 3rd. Stefanik is 4th. Sylvester's waiting for the curtain call. Back off turn 4. Leader still Szegedy.
What great explosion that time by Szegedy. There wasn't much of an opening underneath Marquis, but Szegedy was able to find it. Now Leah trying to find it.
Reeling him in. Leah is the man with no fear. Oh, a tap to the bumper, the old ripple effect. Tag, you're in.
Some shock waves here on lap number 171. Stefanic's still a factor in car number 16. So is Sylvester. Any one of 6 cars can win it with 28 laps to go.
Off turn number 4, Szegedy still doing the job. 172 circuits in. Donnie Leah still in second. Last time by, Leah is the fastest of the top 5. Rim riding. He moves to the bottom of the racetrack. Carl Bugsy Stevens would have been proud by that move when Leah took over the lead. Szegedy has to settle back into second. Marquis is still in third. And Stefanik sets in the 4th spot, followed by Sylvester. Donnie Leah becomes the 6th different leader of the event, taking over the lead on lap 173.
Now it looks like Szegedy is lining himself up, trying to get momentum for a shot at Leah.
Off the 4th turn when they cross the stripe this time. 25 laps to go. If you think it's over with, you're wrong.
Well, we had to endure a lot of caution flags today, but it's come down to this. Some of the best drivers in the history of the Whelen Modified Tour up at the front, looking for the most prestigious victory in the Tour, the Spring Sizzler.
Leah still hitting his marks, picture perfect. Trouble now, turn number 4. Danny Salmons is in trouble again. And he makes contact with the cement wall to the outside of the racetrack. We're back under yellow. So the caution comes out on lap number 176. 13th caution of the event for car number 0, Danny Salmons. And we believe that Bobby Grigas was involved in that as well. So this might be the cooling factor again that's coming into play. So again, Tony Sutton was talking the crew chief of Donnie Leah. They come off the turn and the green flag comes out. And Leah leads him down into turn number 2. Oh, Szegedy is right there. Little
Szegedy
shot
with a
to the
little
bumper.
tap.
Oh yeah, he says, hello. Get ready, I'm coming to the front. Off the turn, counting him down now. We're into the zone.
And here comes Marquis, is starting to crowd Todd Szegedy.
Szegedy is still right there, and Sylvester is working over Mighty Mike Stefanik. Off turn number 4. Let's see if they've slowed. Yes, the pace has slowed, Matt, just a bit. But here's something that's interesting. 18.750 for the leader. Guess what the second place car, Zegedy's time was? The exact same, 18.750. Both of those cars are going the same laps at the same speed, basically. Let's see what's going to happen now. 185 up on the board.
Szegedy wants to try to open up some room on the bottom groove so he can scoot past the 4 of Donnie Leah, as Marquis has opened up some distance between himself and the 4th place car. So with 14 laps to go, it seems to be a 3-car scenario between Leah, Szegedy, and Marquis.
Leah still doing a masterful job, just working, guarding his line. He is the leader. He can pick and choose where he wants to. And he certainly is not going to give up the inside lane. If Zegedy's going to pass for the lead, he's got to go to the outside. And when those times are as close as they are, an 18.507 and an 18.543 by Szegedy, it's not an easy task by any means. Leah is the faster of the two, so the stopwatch says.
I don't think there's a question of if Szegedy will make a move. It's when he's going to shoot the final bullet in his holster.
189 when they cross the stripe. When they come back by, there'll be 10 laps to go. 5 miles left in the competition. Here comes our leader again off turn number 4. And looks like he's starting to pull away a bit now, man.
He's getting a little bit of daylight between himself and Todd Szegedy. And he's not really slowing the pace down. He's running 18.5s. So Donnie Leah still has a lot of life left in that car.
Here comes Marquis. He tested the waters a bit on Szegedy, then pulled it right back into line. 9 circuits and counting. Sylvester is working over Stefanik. Leaders are going to be faced with traffic in about 3 to 4 laps. Trouble down the back straightaway. Rene Dupuis crossways across the racetrack. Teddy Christopher, no place to go. Billy Pouch Jr. and Anthony Cecily is involved with car number 11. And the only car that does not appear to be pulling away is the 36 car for Ted Christopher. But it could happen today. There's going to be 6 laps to determine all of that. They come off turn number 4. Green flag is back out. And Leah, there's Szegedy.
Timed it perfectly.
Szegedy slingshots to the inside. The mighty Ford just took over the lead. Leah's not done. Off turn number 4, Jerry Marquis isn't done. Stefanik isn't done, nor is Sylvester.
Only 3 words can describe Szegedy's strategy now. Guard the bottom.
Down into turn number 3. When they come back to the stripe, there'll be 3 laps to go. Leah looks to the high side, reels him in, taps him on the bumper. Szegedy guards the spot.
This
Leah,
is a strong
bonsai
point,
move
turn 3.
to the bottom of the racetrack. Leah takes back the lead off turn number 4. Popsicle sticks are up, 2 to go.
Now let's see what Szegedy can do. Time running out. Marquis is also a factor.
Down into turn number 3. Driving by the seat of their pants. This is what the greatest race in the history of spring is all about. Off turn number 4. Leah, white flag is out, 1 lap to go. Szegedy is there. If it's going to happen, it'll happen down the back straightaway into turn 3.
He has some room. Let's see if he can get there as they explode into the 4th turn. Contact, slight contact between Leah and Szegedy.
Off turn number 4, Donnie Leah has done it. He's won the greatest race in the history of spring. Todd Szegedy, glued to his back bumper, will finish in 2nd. Jerry Marquis is 3rd, and Mighty Mike Stefanik will finish in 4th over Zach Sylvester to round out the top 5. Unofficially in the 6th spot, Tony Hirschman. 7th is James Savali. 8th is Matt Hirschman. 9th is Jimmy Blewett, and unofficially in 10th is Jamie DeMano.
Then it was Bobby Grigas finishing 11th, followed by Kevin Goodale. Chuck Hosfeld survives to finish 13th, followed by Dick Houlihan and Richard Savory. Wade Cole 16th, Rene Dupuis 17th, Anthony Cecily 18th, and maybe the biggest disappointment of the day, Ben, Ted Christopher 19th, followed by Eric Beers in 20th.
Billy Pouch Jr. will finish 21st. Danny Sammons is 22nd. Ed Plemke 23rd, followed by James Storis in 24th. Ronnie Silk, Reggie Ruggiero, Ron Newhouse, and John Blewett III. That is your unofficial rundown of the greatest race in the history of spring. Well, there is no question about it. Car number 4 gets the checkered flag. Bob Garbarino said, I'm not even sure if I'm going to race in 2007, but he does. He came, he saw, and he conquered. And Bob Garbarino and Donnie Leah have a lot to celebrate here when you win the Stafford Motor Speedway Spring Sizzler presented by CarQuest.
Donnie Leah's strongest point on the racetrack was turn 3. After losing the lead on a restart, he got it back with a power move in turn number 3, and Szegedy didn't have enough laps in order to mount a comeback.
Down the back straightaway, the Mystic Missile, they used to refer to it as. It once was a white in color. They changed to yellow over the years. It carries the V in front of it, the V4. If you know anything about boats, you know the V4 was a famous motor or style of a motor that was used in boats, and Donnie Leah has done it. He's won the greatest race in the history of spring. Leah, with the checkered flag out the window, brings Bob Garbarino's V4 into CarQuest victory lane. Donnie Leah wins the the greatest race in the history of spring, the 36th annual CarQuest Spring Sizzler, as Tony Sutton is down there where the action is, and it will be an impressive victory lane for sure. Tony?
Well, Donnie Lea pulls in the other way, but he's already pointing at his car owner and getting some congratulations from the crew. The safety belts are coming off, the Hans device. It's going to be a couple of seconds before he's able to get out as the crew swarms the car. Donnie Lea takes the earpieces out of his communication system and unhooks the Hans device. Just the belts remain to be unfastened and he'll be out of the car. Congratulations all around for everybody involved. Well, I'll tell you what, it's kind of chaos down here as Donnie dons the CarQuest hat. Still getting congratulations. Well, we're adjusting the hat so it fits properly. And ladies and gentlemen, the 36 Spring Sizzler, your winner out of the car to get the laurel wreath and the victory milk, Donnie Lea. And the milk's being shared by all around. Let's look this way because they want to find out exactly what the winner looks like as he takes the victory milk and what is an amazing, exciting Spring Sizzler. It didn't look like you had enough to get around him again that second time after he just blew by you, but man, you waited for the right time and the number 4 just marched to the front.
Yeah, Todd raced me so hard, and I tell you, it feels really good to race Todd for this win because he's a class act, and I look up to him, you know. But we raced each other clean, and when he got back by me, I didn't think I would get him again, but I just dug deep, and these guys behind me worked too hard to give up on him. So we went for it, and we were able to get it back, and I couldn't be any happier. These guys gave me a great opportunity to drive this race car, and I just hope I'm making everybody proud because, you know, we always knew what we were capable of, but sometimes it takes the right combination, a little different combination to make it happen, and I'm just so proud to be here right now. Thank you.
One of the amazing things was to watch the faces on the crews, the crew chief, everyone, as you lost the lead and then you gained it back. It was almost like the smiles fell off and they came right back up. What a tremendous effort from everybody here, but man, what a drive you put on.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to thank Todd for racing me clean. I want to thank Bob Garbarino and Bob Mueller from Troyer and the whole crew. Hutter Motors gave us a great power plant today, and just everybody worked great together. And I got to thank my dad and mom and everybody. I mean, it's a real team effort, and I'm almost speechless. I'm so happy. I don't know what to say. I've been wanting to win a tour race here at Stafford for so long. I wondered sometimes if I was ever going to get it done, but to come here and win this race, forget it. This is unbelievable.
All you have to say is to lift the bottle in the air and claim your championship.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Donnie, congratulations. We'll let you celebrate with your crew.
All right, thanks a lot.
And that's Donnie Lea with Tony Sutton, the winner of the 36th annual CarQuest Tech-Neck Spring Sizzler at Stafford Speedway. DeGiorgi Roofing and Siding, Inc. is the new title sponsor of the 13th annual Late Model 100, scheduled to run July 6th. DeGiorgi will be presenting a $100 Englert Leaf Guard of Connecticut halfway leader bonus to the driver who is in the front of the pack at the 50-lap, 100-lap event. Should the halfway leader go on to win the race, DeGiorgi will contribute another $100 for a total $200 bonus. DeGiorgi Roofing and Siding, headquartered in Beacon Falls with branch offices in Branford, Fairfield, Hartford, and Waterbury. DeGiorgi Roofing and Siding, our family serving your family since 1933. Todd Zegedy finished second to Donnie Lea. Todd's with Tony Sutton.
Man, you couldn't get a more dynamic and exciting finish. Unfortunately, it was just a little bit left off the excitement for you, but what a drive you put on today.
Yeah, we had a good time. It was a lot of fun. The Winston Douglas Ford really ran pretty good. You know, we got some tweaking to do with the chassis. You know, right from the get-go, I was real strong, and then 2 or 3 laps later, I drop off, and that's when Donnie got me. And you know, some people said, well, maybe you should have blocked him down the backstretch. No, he had the better car. You know, if he was going to get by me, he was going to get by me. And you know, that's what the last lap's for, is to do some defensive driving. And I tried getting him, and I couldn't get him. Maybe a couple more laps, maybe. But you know, my car was inconsistent. Sometimes I'd drop off, and sometimes it'd be good. But this is a good finish compared to what we had last week.
Well, I'll tell you what, that one move around him about 4 laps before the end was really exciting. You just seemed to wind it up and let her rip, and you got under him very cleanly.
Yeah, I knew he was going to push up. He did the first restart I had when I was behind him, so I just remembered that. I didn't think I was going to have enough room to get in between him. He gave me plenty of room. We did some rubbing and banging, and it was a really good time. So this is the kind of racing that we need to have all the time.
Todd Zegedy, congratulations on second. I know you're just one smidgen off, but man, it was a great race to watch.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun, and we just got to keep getting some top 5s and top 10s for the rest of the year.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Tony Sutton. And let us remind you, coming up next on this season opening Sunday here at Jackie Root Stafford Motor Speedway, our late model drivers will be out. They'll start their season with a 30-lap go-round on the half-mile oval. Right now, let's go back down to Tony Sutton with our third-place finisher. Tony?
Well, Jerry Marquis here with his owner. I'll tell you what a great performance you put on today.
You know what? Everything came together today. I got to thank Joe for giving me this ride. And it's great to be here.
It's great to see you here. I'll tell you what, you brought the car to the front. You held them off for a long time. Did the restarts after the yellows give you problems?
Yeah, we just couldn't get it to fire up fast enough. You know, it took like about 5 laps. Once the car tires got warmed back up, the car was just awesome. We didn't need them cautions, but you know, it's part of the game. And you know, to finish in the top 5 right now, to get a third out of this whole deal, be on a podium, it's excellent. I love running Stafford. I've been running here for many, many years, and I consider this place one of my home tracks.
Well, Joe and Jerry, congratulations on the podium finish. It was an exciting race, and you really put on a terrific show for everyone here.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank all the fans for coming out. And I got a Shoot Gates Steakhouse came on board late in the beginning of the year here, so I'd like to thank them for their support. Reynolds Auto Wrecking, Harvey and Kim, they've been awesome to me, and we're looking for great things with this race team.
We'll see you at the next race.
You got it.
And let's now go back over to Ben Dodge and Matt Buckler.
Well, once again, we're ready to present to you the starting lineup for the running of the late model feature event of 30. Let's get right to the heat of the matter. Starting at the point is car number 77 out of Stafford Springs, Connecticut, the A&A Budget Repair Service Chevrolet Monte Carlo for Ed Ricard.
Alongside will be car number 01 from Bethany, Connecticut, in the Extra Mart Convenience Stores Monte Carlo. It's Jim Mavlajanis.
Pontiac Grand Prix will be starting in position number 3. It is car number 66 for the all-time veteran driver from Southington, Connecticut. It is Cliff Stakey.
And next door to him will be car number 10 from West Haven, Connecticut, in the Extra Mart Convenience Stores Monte Carlo. The driver is Wayne Corey Jr.
Davidson Specialty Foods brings us a Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Car number 64 starting next from Stafford Springs, Connecticut, for Michael Bennett.
This driver looked good yesterday in qualifying in car number 31 from Bolton in the Universal Building Controls Monte Carlo. Here is Steve McQuillan.
Drivers changed in 2007. It worked yesterday. Will it work today? He'll be starting in the 7th starting spot, driving car number 90. That's the Cliff Nelson Motorsports machine from Salem, Connecticut, for the talented Corey Hutchins.
Alongside him will be car number 13, a driver known as the Outlaw in the OJS Landscape Excavation Incorporated Intrepid from Shelton, Connecticut. It's Mike Quintiliano.
9th starting spot goes to car number 4 out of Stafford Springs, Connecticut, the Butler Group sponsored race car. The driver is the veteran and talented Tommy Butler.
The defending champion will be next in the Davidson Company Ford Taurus from Stafford, Connecticut. Here is Woody Pitcat.
12th starting spot goes to car number 00 out of Springfield, Massachusetts. It is Patrick Townsend.
A 2-time champion sits in the next position from Munson, Mass. Flamingo Motorsports brings us the quiet man, Jim Peterson.
Then we go to car number 44, the Scott's Electric Company car from Ellington, Connecticut. It is Scott Foster Jr.
The 7 will be next, a driver from Meriden, Connecticut, In the East Side Service Monte Carlo, it is Dennis Godbout.
Then it is car number 3 for the 3-time champion from Stafford Springs, Connecticut, the Eagle Leasing Company number 3 for Ryan Pisacco.
Next door to him in car number 92, a driver from East Longmeadow, Massachusetts. JV3 Construction brings us the 3-time Pro Stock champion, Tom Fern.
Industrial Electric and Construction brings us a Pontiac Grand Prix. They call him the Juice, car number 38 for Mark Lewis out of Southington, Connecticut.
The Big Whistle will be next in car number 99. Erasable Images Power Washing presents Scott Cook.
Nico Systems brings us car number 55 out of Springfield, Massachusetts for John Warren. He'll be starting next.
Here's the Bear in car number 14, TSI Harley-Davidson, the sponsor for Rick Charette.
Acker Racing Enterprises brings us car number 22 out of West Haven, Connecticut for Don Acker Jr.
Located next to him is car number 87 from Berlin. New Haven Truck and Auto Body bring us Monte Carlo, driven by Billy Snow.
The USS Chowder Pot number 03 will be starting 24th on the grid. From Berlin, Connecticut, Mark St. Hilaire.
Then it will be car number 83 from Higginham in the Levy Leff and DeFrank Injury Lawyers sponsored machine. It will be driven by Tony LaFoe.
Advanced Performance Glass brings us car number 62 from East Windsor, Connecticut. It is Bobby Leone.
Another Meriden driver will be next, occupying car number 42. Dave Ray Racing bring us Dave Ray.
And starting scratch. This car was driven yesterday by Chuck Doherty. Back behind the wheel after he went to Greenville Pickens to compete in the Busch Series, it is Jonathan Smith behind the wheel of car number 6 out of Beacon Falls, Connecticut, the Alliance Group sponsored race car.
And if that car looks very similar to Ryan Pisacco's, it's because he is a teammate. As our pace car has left the premises, and we are ready to get busy.
Green flag is out, and Jim Mavlajanis wastes no time at all to lead the parade down into turn number 1. Ricard's got a handful of race car, and Wayne Corey, teammate to Mavlajanis, moves into second. Cliff Stakey gets bounced around like a ball in a pinball machine. He ends up running to the back of the top 10. All of a sudden, Mavlajanis has a problem. Car number 01 slows on the racetrack. The Extra Mart convenience store number 01 almost come to a screeching halt here.
Now Quintiliano trying to work to the bottom of the Steve McQuillan car. Strong, aggressive move by Quintiliano to pick up the spot. Now Pitcat will try to make the same move work for him.
Off the turn, a battle rages for second between Ed Ricard and Corey Hutchins with that number 90 car. Further back in the field, as Matt pointed out, there's a wholesale change of positions going on here, and nobody's getting the best of the change purse here as they head down the back straightaway.
Boy, McClellan must wonder what hit him. Peterson goes underneath him, and now trying to get to the outside of him is the Turbo Man, Tommy Butler. While all this is going on, the 10 of Wayne Corey Jr., trying for his first ever win here in the Stafford late model, has opened up a gap between himself and eager Ed Ricard.
Mike Quintiliano runs very, very strong with the number 13 car. He's up to the 4th spot. And Woody Pitcat at the Crenchman Racing Enterprises special, the Davidson Food Company TSI Harley-Davidson car, currently sets in position number 5. So there's good action up front, and look a little further back in the field. You'll see more of the same in a battle raging right there.
Ryan Pisacco trying to roar his way underneath the 99 of Scott Cook. And 3 wide, look at Tommy Fern go to make the move.
Fern made a classic move to work his way around the inside of Pisacco, and then Scott Cook was right there as a big factor as well. Back to the front of the field, Pitcat moves to the inside of Ricard. Good racing action going there.
Remember, Woody Pitcat started last year with 3 consecutive victories in car number 48 as he approaches the rear bumper of Mike Quintiliano. Making something happen is Jim Peterson, looking for some elbow room against Eddie Ricard. It looks like he has found some.
It certainly does as he works his way to the inside. Jimmy Peterson plans on making his home in the Carolinas very, very soon. But right now, Stafford is just fine for car number 17 as Peterson moves in and takes over position number 5. Ricard drops back, and among the quickest cars on the racetrack is Tommy Butler, 22.180. The leader, Wayne Corey Jr., is going 22.304.
Corey Hutchings in second in his first ever late model race at Stafford Motor Speedway. Hutchings a champ at every other track in the state, at Thompson and Waterford, making his maiden voyage here at the half mile at Stafford.
That, of course, was a car that Todd Owens successfully drove in the late models here, as Owens decided to focus just on his run in the open wheel modifieds here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Woody Pitcat reeling in on Mike Quintiliano. That's a good battle going on as the Hooters machine currently sets in position number 3.
Deeper in the field, Scott Foster able to scrape his way underneath Ryan Pasacco to pick up a spot. Foster was really bounced around in the opening laps of this race. It looks like he has righted the ship.
It sure does, and he's done a masterful job of doing just that. He's all over the back bumper of the Cook brothers car. Meanwhile, Butler moves down underneath Ricard. Down to the bottom of turn number 1, Tommy Butler takes over the 6th spot. Well, it's short-lived as Ed Ricard comes back to life there. Stakey is with him, and Tom Fern is closing up the gap. Off turn number 4, leader still remains Wayne Corey. Remember the story we talked about yesterday afternoon? How Wayne Corey Jr. was so disappointed that he didn't win in his first full season here at Stafford. Today could be the day that turns around 2007.
Eddie Ricard gets caught on the outside. First Butler goes underneath him. And now the 66 of Clint Stakey dive bombs underneath the 77 car. So Ed Ricard caught in no man's land.
He sure is, but he isn't about to give up. He went from the front of this pack to the back of the field, and that race car is not working as well. Meanwhile, Tommy Fern down underneath Ed Ricard. That's a good battle going on at the bottom of the top 10. Out in front, Corey's still the leader, and Corey Hutchins is right there on his back bumper. As they come off the turn, Wayne Corey Jr. that time seemed to be a little loose. It seems like that car is loosening up, Matt, and that could cost Wayne Corey Jr. the lead.
And here comes the entertainer, looking for a cavity underneath the 10 car. Corey Hutchings, one of those guys, Ben, who races hard every lap. The word pace is not in his vocabulary, as now he tries to croquet his way underneath the 10 car.
He does it with ease, as Wayne Corey Jr.'s car just got so loose he wasn't able to hold the car down. Meanwhile, here comes the 13 of Mike Quintiliano up to second, and with him comes Woody Pitcat. In the TSI Davidson Company, number 48, he'll take over the 3rd spot. Halfway this time, 15 laps to go.
Ricard continues to struggle as Foster got by him, and then Ryan Pasacco made the move. Will anybody make a move on Corey Hutchings? We know Mike Quintiliano is capable. The police officer from Sheldon, he says he practices by taking his cruiser out in the high school parking lot, and that's how he sharpens his skills.
Well, he is the man that currently sets in the runner-up spot, and right there with him comes Woody Pitcat. Pitcat is all over the back bumper of Mike Quintiliano. And in the 4th spot, it is still Wayne Corey Jr. Jimmy Peterson is 5th. 6th is Tommy Butler. 7th is Stakey. 8th is Fern. 9th is Foster. And 10th is Ryan Pasacco.
Corey Hutchings, a very difficult man to catch once he gets the momentum. A good battle is developing for second as Scott Cook perhaps gets that black flag, car number 99, as he will have to go to the infield road.
There is a great battle going on still among the top 5 positions here. Nobody's giving anybody any extra room on the racetrack. Things are really starting to get settled in. Scott Cook, the Cook brothers car, drops off the pace mat and heads down on pit road. That is not what the Cook brothers wanted to see. They had a real good race car yesterday and a real good race car in the first 15 laps of this event.
The Outlaw closing in on Corey Hutchings. So we're down to the final 11 laps, and it looks like Mike Quintiliano has a lot of race car left, as he's opened up a little bit of a cushion between himself and Woody Pitcat in the battle for second.
That 13 car is a real strong race car. So isn't the 48, but it is still car number 90 in command. As he comes off the turn, Corey Hutchins knows how to be consistent. He knows how to run strong, and the Cliff Nelson Motorsports car is the leader of the pack. Off that second turn and down the back straightaway, it still remains a battle with 2 cars starting to string out from the field, and it's hard to believe Woody Pitcat is kind of left a little bit behind when it comes to straightaway speed, but he's very strong in the turns.
Looks like that car might be a little loose coming out of the corners as he tries to make up that ground between himself and Quintiliano. Wayne Corey, after being caught on the outside and falling from first to fourth, is stabilized in that number 4 position, and Jim Peterson can't make a move against him.
Tommy Butler is still right there contending. We've got a battle going on a little further back in the pack for the 11th spot. Ed Ricard and Ryan Pisacco. Pisacco really has been off the pace all weekend long. He just hasn't been as strong as he's seen him be in the past.
Ricard almost lost it in car number 77 as Mark Lewis was nipping at his heels in car number 39. But the 77 able to stabilize itself.
Sure was. Is still good racing further back in the field as well. But the leader still remains Corey Hutchins with the number 90 car. Mike Quintiliano still in second. Third is still Woody Pitcat. Fourth position still held down by Wayne Corey Jr. And fifth spot is the 17 car, Jimmy Peterson, with Tommy Butler right there. That seems to be the hot spot on the racetrack.
Best battle for fourth and fifth is Corey trying to hold his edge, but Peterson is in striking distance. So is Butler. At the front of the field, Corey Hutchins has opened about a 3-car length cushion over Mike Quintiliano.
There's less than 6 circuits remaining in this late model feature event, and now Woody Pitcat is all over Mike Quintiliano. Remember, there was a time when Quintiliano drove the 48 car here in the late model division, so now they are nose to tail, but there was a little bit of daylight there for a while as Pitcat went to move to the bottom of Mike Quintiliano. Can't do it as they come off the turn and come back to the stripe. Quintiliano brings it way out wide and then brings it to the bottom of turn number 1.
Remember, these positions are worth 2 points apiece. Last year's late model race came down to the wire. It looked like Pitcat was going to shoot his way through, but Quintiliano was able to have veto power.
They come off turn number 4 and Corey Hutchins in a zone all by himself as he now looks at 3 laps remaining in this event. Good battle still going on for second. Equally as impressive is the battle between the Pisacco car and the number 66 of Stakey. That's happening further back in the field for the 9th and 10th spot. As they come off turn number 4, there'll be 2 circuits remaining in this event. 1 mile left in the competition here.
And a pretty good gap between Corey Hutchins and the combination of Quintiliano and Pitcat. Pitcat has tried every weapon at his disposal, has been unable to figure out a way to get underneath Mike Quintiliano.
Good battle, though, and it's been going on lap after lap. Consistency is the story in that one. Leader comes up on lap traffic. Here comes Pitcat. Down underneath Mike Quintiliano. White flag is out. Final circuit. They head down into turn number 1. Mike Quintiliano left the door open. In comes car number 48. Quintiliano fights back. He is settling back into third, but third just isn't good enough. A podium finish doesn't cut it. Corey Hutchins leads him off turn number 4 as he comes back to the line. It's Corey Hutchins to take down the win.
What a debut for Hutchins. Had time to wave to the crowd. Pitcat rallies for second, followed by Quintiliano. Then Wayne Corey Jr. A great opening day for him, and Jim Peterson will round out the top 5.
So the late model feature event is now history, and Corey Hutchins on his maiden voyage to the Stafford Motor Speedway puts the Cliff Nelson Motorsports number 90 into CarQuest Victory Lane.
I think Corey Hutchins was here once during a special Stafford race they had at the end of the season. It was not a points race, but in his first points race ever at Stafford, he had things under control, taking the lead early, and he still had time to cross the stripe and wave to the crowd at the same time.
Showing his talent and versatility, Corey Hutchins heads to CarQuest Victory Lane. Woody Pitcat, great run for him, muscles his way into second, and finishing in the 3rd spot, Mike Quintiliano with the Hooters number 13.
That was a pretty good battle for second between Pitcat and Quintiliano. Woody leaned on him and was finally able to get the spot. But now in the spotlight is Wayne Corey Jr. And don't forget, we still have Sizzler Weekend coming on strong. One more event remaining. The Dare Stocks will be here, Ben. Great action yesterday, and we're ready for a great feature today.
We sure are, and the Dare Stocks will put on a real exciting event here. Their feature event is coming up next. But right now, we're about to direct our attention to CarQuest Victory Lane. At the conclusion of Victory Lane, the Dare Stock main event will be our final feature event on Spring Sizzler Sunday. But right now, let's go down to Tony Sutton.
Well, to say that Corey Hutchins is exciting is an understatement of a magnitude 5 on the Richter scale as he gets a little water in him. A long way to get out there, but Corey Hutchins, late model winner, out of the car. And I'll tell you what, boy, I'll tell you, man, you need to be able to learn how to express how you really feel.
I wasn't sure where I was supposed to go. This is only my second time racing here. What a great facility. I got to thank the Clark brothers, Darren and George, all the guys that help us here. I mean, this deal didn't come together till late, and you know, I can't thank those guys enough. I can't thank Billy the Kid for the awesome horsepower. Cliff Nelson, I can't ask for a better sponsor. I mean, he's the best guy I ever met in my life as a sponsor. He's a great guy. I can't thank the crew enough. Mitch, Aaron, Randy, Billy the Kid, George, everybody on the crew. I can't thank them enough.
Corey, to Stafford.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations on your win. It was pretty spectacular. I think it was the coolest. Able to get the net down and your hand out to wave to the crowd right at the start-finish line.
I tell you, I'm pretty excited. I mean, this is Stafford Motor Speedway, right? So I'm pretty excited to be here. I can't believe that we're in Victory Lane our first time out. Like I said, I can't thank the Clark brothers enough for giving me the opportunity to drive this car.
Congratulations. Savor the victory.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Tony, and congratulations to Corey Hutchins, winning his first race here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Quick reminder, this coming Friday, May 4th, we'll kick off our Will and All-American Racing Series Friday night action for you with all 5 of our divisions, SKs, SK Lights, late models, limited late models, and the Dare division, all in action coming your way Friday night right here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Back down to CarQuest Victory Lane with Tony Sutton. Tony?
Well, Woody, second place is first loser, somebody said, but I'll tell you what, it was a great race, and you drove the wheels off that car.
Yeah, it was pretty good. We've been trying a little bit different stuff with the motor, and it's something we got to work on. I want to congratulate George and Darren Clark. They gave me the opportunity to run their car one time, and Corey Hutchins, he's a good shoe, so I'm glad that they got a win under their belt, and we'll take second, and I just got to thank all the sponsors, TSI Harley-Davidson, Crutchman Motorsports, all those guys. Kendall for taking over the second place contingency. I want to thank them. Billy the Kid, Performance Engines, BFR Chassis, awesome chassis. I got to thank this new law firm here. Something attorney at law. I can't really see what it says. I'll have to work on that, but rather than that, I guess that's it.
Well, Woody, it's never it because we know next week there'll be a Woody Pitcat show once again. Congratulations on second place, and welcome to 07.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Woody, and thank you, Tony. Tony will now make his way down CarQuest Victory Lane where he'll speak with the outlaw, Mike Quintiliano, and he finished third today in the opening run for the late models. Go ahead, Tony, talk to Mike for us.
Well, Mike, no chicken wings for everybody, but close, third place.
Yeah, you know, we'll take it. You know, the first race, these guys are great. Corey, coming from a different track, awesome job he did. I congratulate him. And, you know, naturally, Woody, he's great up here. And he was there, and I got tighter and tighter. I just couldn't hold him off. I didn't have enough time, and, you know, he was there. So I said, go. I don't want to wreck the car for anything. And so he got it. So we'll take third, you know. It was a good day, good weekend. We're home in one piece, and hopefully come back and do a little better next week. I got a feeling you will be back and do better next week and the week after that and the week after that. It's going to be a great 07. Congratulations on third place. Thanks a lot, Tone. That's it from down here in Victory Lane for the late models. We'll send it back upstairs.